he's always late. Oh, he's always late. Yeah, what now? You know, you guys should start to call me Johnny on the spot or Johnny be early or something like that. Anyways, what up? Hey, what up, Greg? What up, everybody? Hey, you know what that just reminded me of? Do you guys remember back in the day, like way back in the day when we were, you know, like we'd have like 50 people in here or whatever. I used to read out everybody's name. I used to be like, hey, what's going on? Hitting things with sticks in the building. Charlie's in here. Trey's in here. Dr. Cool, Jedi, John, Nightwing. You know what I mean? Used to do all that kind of stuff back in the day. Anyways, guys, you know, it's crazy, man. It's I'm very glad that it's Friday. Been a good week, but been a long week. So happy Friday to you all. We made it through the week. Thank God. Been a tough one, but we made it. So I'm looking forward to the break and all of that. Wait, what? Wednesday? Fuck! I don't know. That's just how I'm feeling. I don't know how you guys are feeling. That's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like, dude, is it over yet? Can we call it? This one? Can we just call this one? Den of calendars. What the fuck? It's a Wednesday, my dude. I know. Josh, I'm pretty sure Feige subscribes to your channel. You're the best storyteller he has. Let's go. I don't know what that means, but yes. I don't know what that means. But yes. Also, and I don't know if anybody's noticed yet, but I notice it and I can't stop thinking about it. So I'm going to have to bring it up and we're going to have a little conversation. Do you see my nose? Yeah, believe it or not, that was not from a flying squirrel doing some kind of drive-by cross-species violence. No, it came from inside the house. It was my daughter. Dude, she is a savage. She is a brutal savage. And the thing is, you might say like, oh, she accidentally scratched you. Like, oh, dude, she scratched you. Like, oh, that's tough, but she's a kid or whatever. No, she purposely is like, ah! And like literally got her fingernail into my nose and then ripped it. And then she smelled the blood in the air. And I saw her smile. Whew, look out, world. We're going to get some calls from the principal's office for this one. Yeah, she's a little dialed up. At least she didn't bite. She doesn't have teeth yet. But she's tried to bite actually already. She tries to bite already. It's kind of funny because she's all gummy and she's like, you know. Did I deserve it? Probably. I don't remember what I did or what I said, but sure. Wait till one of them breaks your glasses. Dude, Liam broke. You remember I used to have a whole bunch of different glasses? Trev? You've been watching the channel long enough. I used to have like 4 pairs that I'd put on rotation. This is all I have left after Liam. It's just these. And he twisted these ones up. Like, these are not actually, like, I don't know how much you guys notice, and we're on an angle or whatever, but they're not even straight. Like, they're not even straight. I have to, like, adjust them. Kids, man. Zach says, bro, my daughters are so much more hardcore than my son is. I wish I could tell you it gets better. Much love. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're different, you know, and they're different in their own ways. But Athena is very... she's a savage, man. You need them rubber glasses? What the hell? Rubber glasses? Okay. Shalami Leaner says, have you watched the Emmy Awards yet? Both Andor and Penguin got awards. You know, not only did I not watch the Emmys, I'm actually like, I see like nothing from that. Do you guys see a lot of people bragging about the Emmys and stuff like that? I see, and maybe I've been a little checked out, right? But I see like zero cultural impact from the Emmys. Like even less so than I expected. Like I haven't seen, like I don't see a lot of Star Wars fans being like, yeah, Andor, you know? I don't see fucking DC fans. I mean, James Gunn didn't even acknowledge the Emmy win, from what I understand, for Penguin. Who cares? Dude, we're entering such a weird inflection point, man. I feel like you can say a thing like nobody cares about the Emmys, and maybe that's a bit of hyperbole, and maybe it's a bit of a like almost politically charged statement where it feels like you're just being shitty and you're like, oh dude, like the coastal elites it's over, like, you know, that kind of energy. But I gotta tell you, man, I think there's a lot of truth to it. I think people legitimately do not care. Which is wild, right? It is kind of wild to see that. You know? It's hyperbole, but less people care. Yeah, I think certainly less people care. Just in the actual viewership for the show or the Emmy Awards, I would imagine the viewership is lower. I didn't hear anything about it being like better than they expected or whatever, right? And then the cultural relevance, like I'm just telling you right now, like it's not doing shit. At least it's from what I see. There has to be some movement out there. Like we would be silly to think, oh, we're seeing this lack of thing, so it doesn't have any impact at all. Like, of course it doesn't. It's a, you know, it's an institution. It's an old school thing. It has its place, especially for a lot of older folks. But I, like, in all seriousness, I look out there and I just see like next to no cultural impact made by this at all. Prapa says, at this point, are you expecting Toby in Doomsday or Secret Wars, or is that still wishful thinking? Well, we'll talk about it today. I mean, guys, dude, like, we've got a lot to talk about today. I have, let's count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different main topics to get into today. The vast majority of them are about Doomsday. Because when it rains, it pours, man. Things went crazy. Daniel RPK dropped some crazy stuff about Doomsday. Then Alex Perez, like, basically dropped the very next day a bunch of crazy stuff about Doomsday. There's a lot of info out there. There's a lot of info out there about Doomsday. And one of the things we'll talk about is Toby. Toby's universe, the potential of that being in Doomsday. We're going to get into it. So I don't want to necessarily answer that question right now, but I'll say I think Toby will be in Doomsday. I think so. What's your thoughts on the state of the summer box office? Apparently, it's been down compared to recent years. Yeah, it's down a little bit. I mean, I think I don't know. I don't know exactly what to say about it. It's certainly down, but when you look at the numbers on a long time frame, I don't know. It doesn't appear to be the disaster that I think people... I think that Hollywood's in trouble, for sure. And I think the box office is a reflection of that. But I also think that what I think we're going to see is like that tentpole focused audience that would come out for Marvel is like fracturing a bit, but there's still stuff that can move the needle big time. You know, like How to Train Your Dragon did really well. Obviously, Minecraft. So there are big movies. F1 doing more than Superman and stuff. Like, it's crazy out there. So I think there's still an industry to be had. I think they have to figure it out and they have to make adjustments, but I don't even know that it's as... So it kind of depends, right? I've seen some analysts say that the movie industry itself is kind of like still suffering from some COVID shit and also like maybe just the changing of a guard, so to speak. And it could right itself by 2030 and it could be back to where it was, which is really not too far from where it is right now. What you want to be looking for is 4 to 5 billion consistently. And I think the numbers for the last couple of summers, obviously COVID was like nothing. And then you saw it bounce back up. And I think it's 3.6, 3.7, 3.5, something like that for the past couple of years, like an ebb and flow there, which just means it hasn't like fully recovered, essentially. But when you look ahead at 2027, the release schedule looks incredibly strong, as does 2028. Like it just looks, they look... it looks like the next couple of years are going to work to sort of right the ship, but we'll see, because another thing we talk about is changing interests, changing, taste, the zeitgeist, how that's changing, anime, video game adaptations. There's a lot of other things at play here. We'll see, it's a complicated question, man. It's a complicated one. Ethan says the hype for Doomsday rises by the day. 7 to 8 years without Avengers movies. We're back, and we're also nerd avenging for life. Okay, gotcha. Took me a second. 4 months. Wow, keep it up, bro. Hey, I appreciate, man. I appreciate the support. Yeah, we've got a lot of nerd venging to do today. There's a lot to get into, and then there's a lot I'm interested to hear from you guys about, different theories or speculative ideas that you have. That's part of the fun. And there's several, like I said, there's a lot of shit we're going to get into today. A lot to be like, yo, what's the implication of that? What kind of an impact is this going to have on the story? Den of Weebs, here we go. Yeah, there's a lot of anime stuff coming for sure. Movie ticket prices are absolutely a part of it, yeah. Are you watching season 2 of Gen V? I have not yet. Are you guys watching it? Did it drop already? Did it come out? I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to explain the thing with Gen V for me. When the trailers first popped off, even late last year or earlier this year, I was a little bit more excited for it. It comes out today. Okay, interesting. And my excitement for it has just waned a little bit. So I just don't know that I'm like locked in to start it tonight. Yeah, first 3 episodes. That's a cool, that's a cool structure. They use that. What about you guys? Like, where are you guys at with Gen V? A lot of you excited to check it out? Oh, Ethan, nice, man. I'm glad you checked it out. I'm glad you liked it. Season 3 of Foundation is crazy. Is it crazy? I think I left off somewhere in season 2. New DC? What? How many of you guys are really excited? Oh, you still need to watch season 1? Probably not watching it maybe in a month or 2. Yeah, I don't know exactly what the deal is. I hope the show's successful. I hope a ton of people watch it and it does really well. But there is a little part of it that feels like maybe they're just dropping the ball on the release schedules here. If this had dropped a little bit closer to the boys' last season, I feel like the momentum would be carrying a little stronger. But we'll see, because the first season of Gen V surprised me at how successful it was. Obviously, The Boys is a big brand and it's grown a lot, so a lot of people are aware of it. Pops up on the Amazon Prime. A lot of people checking out Amazon Prime. We'll see what happens. Foundation is amazing sci-fi. It really is. It's really cool. Yeah. The structure of the narrative is a little bit jarring at times, right? Because they do kind of jump around into different times and they're trying to like weave these stories together a bit. I think that's part of why like Elisa wasn't digging it as much. But yeah, it is really cool for sure. Foundation was so good, especially the finale. Oh my God, I'm so glad it got renewed. Yeah, what is that? Season 4 coming, huh? That's cool. Have you watched Invasion? I have not. I'm not even sure what that is. Do I like Stranger Things? Hell yeah, I like Stranger Things. Hell yeah. Josh, I can't believe how you keep doing Doomsday theories and videos when we're still over a year away. Can definitely tell you're passionate about this movie. Yeah, I mean, I think, if I wasn't actually interested in all of this, I wouldn't be making the content. I think a lot less people are interested in it than they maybe were at one time. I think Doomsday, especially as we get closer, will drum up even more interest. And I think what's going to be really cool for me is like getting to that place where a lot of folks are really interested, a lot of promo out there, a lot of content to be made, because I've been putting the hashtag time in. You know what I mean? I study Marvel. I mean, at this point, there's probably literally only, I'd say 10 people outside of Marvel Studios, because Marvel Studios themselves, obviously, those people know what's going on, like the real shit, right? But as far as like content creators or people that follow Marvel, I would quite literally put myself in the top 10 of people on the planet that have, like, that know about it. Because I mean, it's been my job for like 9 years. You know, I've read countless books about it. I've interviewed people. I've talked to sources. I talk to a lot of other people about it all the time. I follow it very closely. I'm certainly not always right? I'm a human like everybody else. I'm fallible, and sometimes like I'll get hyped up about something or whatever. But it's weird, right? Like, it sounds like a crazy brag, but it's really not. It just happens to be a weird scenario in life that I was doing this and kept doing it, and now this other thing is happening. It's like if you had been a so like, here's an example. Like, if you had been a Mass Effect content creator, right? And like, let's say you had been making lore videos and playthroughs and like breaking down Mass Effect like a crazy person, right? Like a chronic online Mass Effect fiend. Well, there'd clearly be time periods where that was not the most popular thing, but then there would be time periods where it was incredibly popular. So when the next game comes out, oh, dude, that channel's gonna pop. When the movie or show or whatever they're doing with live action Mass Effect, when that comes out, that channel's gonna pop. You put the work in to actually have authority within a space, and then some of it's not up to you. How does the space perform? Does it stay relevant or not? You know, that's a part of the content game as well. But yeah, no, I feel good about it. And I also feel like the thing that's wild is we're a year away, a little less than a year actually, but we're about a year away from when it's really going to kick off. I mean, frankly, so I was viewing the time period between Doomsday and Secret Wars as like the next insane saga for Den of Nerds. The last time we had something like this was between Infinity War and Endgame. And brother, I remember what it was like. It was absolutely insane. So much attention, so many views. Everybody's so checked in on this thing, and it was awesome. So that's going to happen again. It might happen a little bit in the lead up to Doomsday, because I think Doomsday is like a really big deal, right? And it has more inherent mystery than even Infinity War had. But the time after that, dude, the year. So think of it. I'm kind of thinking of it like this. For me personally, next year from summer to Doomsday is going to be like, I got to lock in. I got to be working really hard. I got to be making a ton of content and crushing it, right? And then literally we have a whole year from that into Secret Wars. And I think we will get a multiversal project in 2027 in the summer. So that's like a year and a half of the Den of Nerds needing a lot of my time and attention and being really, really crazy. Right now, we're kind of in the lead up to that. Things are relatively calm still, even though there are crazy things coming out. And truly, this is a list of mind-blowing things that we're going to discuss today. So it's cool. It's all good. 2 weeks left to drop your next Warhammer video. Well, the thing with that is I have the video ready to go. The only issue is I'm waiting for maybe the second video and for us to get a little closer on the second video, because I'd like to drop them closer together. But yeah, no, we should definitely be able to do that, man. The Warhammer channel is a whole nother thing, but I'm building that as well, and I'm very excited about that. Hey, by the way, chat, you know what I think we should do? I'm gonna throw this out there. This Sunday, let's have a Prime stream. This Sunday, because a shit ton of stuff was just announced for YouTube, and it's fascinating. So I'm trying to process a lot of that stuff myself and look into what I should be using, what I should be thinking about. But let's do that together. Let's talk about that on Sunday, because these changes are truly incredible. Like, there's actually some that have me like, oh my God. Because look, I don't want to get into the weeds. But let me just say this. Holy shit. Content and YouTube, it's already crazy. Anybody that's actually in it will tell you it's absurd. The success is wild. The views, the money, it's wild, right? It's about to get a lot crazier. And I think for the first time in a long time, they're taking a direct shot at Twitch with their streaming. I think you're going to see, because YouTube tried to just court these big streamers and get like arbitrage of the community, and it just didn't work, right? Now they're actually using great engineering to literally offer up things that are just going to make it like an offer you can't refuse. Like you will want to be streaming on YouTube, which is really interesting to me. But yeah, we don't got to get dragged into the weeds on that today. But we can talk about it on Sunday for the Prime members, man. Oh, I'm excited. Like, dude, just as one example here, okay? So I have a video right now on my Warhammer channel that is like a 1.1 million. It gets views every single month. And then the thing is, whenever the next big Warhammer thing happens, it'll get a spike. Okay? Now, as YouTube currently works right now, there's no way to, when that video becomes popular again, plug and pull an ad. Okay? Now, on podcasts, you can do this. On podcasts, if you have a really popular podcast, if you sign a deal, and you meet that deal with the ad, you can then pull it. And then you can make another deal and put another ad in there for whatever the remainder of the views are. Now, that's not going to make sense to most of you guys. But essentially, like, what that means is I'm going to build a library of content. And I think people should really start thinking about this if you're in the YouTube game. I'm going to build a library of content that is actually designed to be evergreen and have timed spikes. And if you can do that, in the future, you'll be able to sell the ads on your catalog, knowing sort of the schedule of how it pops. And it makes it, dude, I don't even know how to explain how wild that is. The amount of value that you're going to be able to capture there that was just lost in the old system is like hard to. It's good. It's really good. It's like really, really good. So I'm excited about that. Yeah. Yeah, so if you're into content creation at all, come on by on Sunday if you're a Prime member. I don't really push Prime at all. In fact, I wish people wouldn't sign up for Prime. But if you're interested, come on by Sunday. I'm going to drop some gems, man. I'm going to drop some gems. I'm going to give you some serious insight onto how to think about this stuff. So come on by for that. What time Sunday? Let's call it 11 a.m. Let's call it 11 a.m. Josh going to make more money to buy more Tau? Yes, but I don't know that I'm going to buy more Tau. I mean, I need to buy a little bit more Tau. But let's not get crazy with the Tau. Okay, Tau is a really nice sort of third army to have and play something different. I don't know that they got it like that. Hey, don't say that, Adam. Josh, will there be multiple Wolverines in Doomsday? I ask that because there's obviously the Wolverine that is in Deadpool. Isn't there another Wolverine in that? That's a good question. I think that it's possible. I kind of hope they don't do it. I think certain characters are going to have variants, and I think those certain variants are going to be really important. Like, we're going to talk about Wanda a little bit today. And I think that's actually interesting, and that you could do that with 2 Wandas. I don't know that we need every character to have multiple variants, though. Now, another thing that we're going to get into today is there was some comments made back in the day. I don't know if you guys remember this, but there were some comments made back in the day by why am I blanking on the homie's name? I can see his face right now. Chris Claremont. And he was talking about how, like, Downey was playing 4 characters. There was going to be 2 variants of Wanda. Like, he started talking about all this crazy shit. It might be true. It might be true, man. Like, he might have been onto something there. And it kind of ties into some of the stuff we're going to talk about today. Oh, I'm excited, man. I got to tell you guys, I'm over caffeinated. I don't know if you can tell I'm talking a million miles an hour today. We're going really, really fucking fast. And I'm about to drink even more caffeine. Oh, my God. I'm so fucking caffeinated. I bet right now, if I went to take a piss, it would be steamy, smelling like coffee, and it would be dark black. Woo! Hell yeah! I'm getting fired up. Are you fired up? Gonna be Tony Stoke? I don't know what that means, but yeah. Mushroom matcha, my man. What kind of mushrooms you talking about, bruh? Ryan, what kind of mushrooms are you talking about? Ryan, are you going to New York Comic Con? Ryan, are we doing another meetup? Ryan, where you been? Ryan, how's life? What's going on in Hoboken? Ryan, are you playing Marvel Rivals still? Ryan! drink too much coffee. It can be bad for you. Ah, fuck. Kyber Sith says, member for 23 months. Eternally grateful for you and this community. Been bringing me joy since 2018. Thank you. Much love. By the way, what's for breakfast? Nerd Vengers for life. Ranch Vengers for life. Hey, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Oh, okay, cool. Nicely done, Trev. Nicely done. I'll grab those. Hey, man, I really appreciate that. I'm glad that you're enjoying the community. You know, I like what I do, obviously. I take it seriously. I try to get better, and I try to entertain. At the end of the day, it's mostly just about entertaining. I do try to be thorough, but really that's just more like my OCD. I'm an entertainer first, but I try to respect the platform as well. Ryan should get Space Marine too. He should, and then we should all play together. We should all do operations together. You, me, and Ryan, like old times. No, not on all accounts. Been getting into Predecessor. What the fuck is Predecessor? That sounds like some version of Tarkov made in fucking the Netherlands by 3 devs that you can barely understand when they do a live stream. That's what that sounds like. Grandmaster Choda says, I like my women like Josh likes his urine. Steamy, smelly, and dark black. Hoo yeah! Love you, Dad. What the fuck? Holy shit, Grandmaster Choda. I mean, you could have just stopped at the beginning. I like my women like Josh likes his urine. Just I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt. Done. Say less. Space Marine 2. I'll download it this week. Hey, nice. No, that game is fun, man. I played a little bit over the weekend. It was really fun. People be donating money to say anything nowadays. I know, it do be crazy. Major Bricks says, have you played Dragon Ball Gekishin? It's dope. No, what is that, brother? Tell me all about it. Should we look it up right now? Gekishin? Is this a new mobile game? Or are you about to get me on some kind of watch list for Googling this? Gekishin! Whoa, this looks kind of lit. What is this? What's Gekishin? Why isn't it more popular? Why important? Well, this seems cool. I'll have to check this out. I'm always looking for a good mobile game to drain the brain and drain the wallet. You know what I mean? Hell yeah, gotchas. Gotcha games. Show us? All I saw was like a little screenshot thing. I don't know. Maybe we'll watch a video on it later. I don't pay to say what I want. I pay so Josh will notice me. Oh, okay. I notice you, brother. It's map gameplay game, which 2 teams on the right side and the other teams on the left working together to win. That's interesting. If your team fucks up, you all fuck up. Oh, okay. Interesting. Josh, is there any way you could go to New York Comic Con this year? Put a 1 into the chat if you would go. Man, it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know, brother. I mean, I could go. Look, here's what I'll say. We're gonna get out there, okay? The thing that's stopping me is Unity, and I just want to have Unity figured out. And it's probably just OCD, right? Like, I could go to New York Comic Con. Everybody knows Unity's delayed or whatever. But, like, there's a part of me that just feels like you can't do anything fun until you finish this shit. And plus, like, I would really like to have it in printed versions of it so I could sell it and promote it and stuff like that. But I guess what I'll say is this. I don't know that I'll go to New York Comic Con this year. I don't know. Probably not. Like, is Theory going? And you guys are going to get all mad because you're like, you won't go for us, but you'll go for Theory? Is Theory going? Here's what I'll say. We'll do more shit next year. We'll do more shit next year. I will meet you guys. I will shake a lot of hands. I will kiss a lot of babies. We'll nerd out. We'll have some drinks. We'll get on the dance floor. I'll fucking twerk like She-Hulk, baby. Next year. Woo! Next year is a better year for it. True. There's a lot more going on. And I'll have Unity figured out. We're so close to some updates. We're so close to some fucking updates, but... yeah. Can we spar? I don't know that that's a good idea. I mean, look, I love sparring. I love it. And there's a few of you in chat that I'd love to sign waivers and get in and just, well, fuck you up, honestly. But it's not a good idea. You know? Too much liability, too many things could go wrong. Plus, like, it's not a good branding thing. Hey, welcome to the Den of Nerds. I'll beat your ass. You know? It's like, what are we doing here? Like, that's not... Am I one of them? No. No. Come at me, bro. Josh wants to beat up Tom. No, you know what? I actually feel no animus towards Tom whatsoever. I think he's maybe online a bit too much, is the nice way to say it. You know? But, like, you know, like, look, to be honest with you guys, I try to... There's definitely stuff that triggers me, and I definitely get irritated by certain things, but I always try to look past it and be like, yo, why is this affecting you, though? Do you know what I mean? So, like, a lot of you guys, like, when I take a step back and think about it, like, when I really think about it, I totally get it, and I'm not mad. Like, you're in here, you're trying to trigger me, you're trying to say wild shit, and it's fun. I do the same thing. I go into Tim's chat, Tim the Tatman, and I'm like, this fucking guy, fall damage, you're such a fat ass, you know, like, whatever. I get it. I understand the rambunctious quality of it. And at the end of the day, some of the things that bug me, it's really more like, so there's this thing in Zen where your greatest teachers will show back up in your life in the form of a major irritant. And some people even take it as far as to say the people that irritate you the most are actually your greatest spiritual teachers, because they're actually teaching you a very important lesson that is, it doesn't matter how much you work on yourself to get this all figured out and to be calculated and to be zen and to be chilling and to have a good even keel base or whatever. Every single person is susceptible to being irritated and being sucked into the now, regardless of how long they've studied it. Now, the well-adjusted person can just kind of adjust back, right? But, yeah, like, I don't, like, honestly, I don't have any animus. I gotta be honest with you guys, I don't think I have animus at all. Like, I don't have really negative feelings towards anybody. Like, maybe a little bit James Gunn, but not really. Like, it's more like a meme. It's more like I've been put in a position where I kind of have to lean into that and then continue to lean into it. Like, if you were to just honestly ask me in a quiet moment, like, do I have animus towards James Gunn? Like, no, like, absolutely not. Like, he's a chill ass nerdy dude that's trying to make comic book things happen. We had a thing on the internet, you know, whatever. I don't have animus, man. Like, I don't have hate. Now, I get angry, and I get angry in a way that is perhaps, we need to work on it. You know what I mean? We need to work on it. But that's different. That is a fixation. That is a inability to, like, you loop out. That's like ADD. Do you know what I mean? I have a ton of hate. Yeah, some people do. Some people do. There were probably moments in my life where I had a lot of hate. For sure. But I don't know, man. I'm just speaking honestly. Like, just honestly, I don't really have a lot of animus, period. I have like a stern rebuke of what I consider evil to be, and I have sort of like a stern view of every single person's capacity to be evil, right? So I'm kind of like always on guard, and I don't really trust people. But I don't hate them. It's not like I hate them. I just don't trust them. Which I think is different. You know? But what are we even talking about? How the fuck do we even get on this topic? What's going on here? Did we truly have too much coffee? Have we had too much coffee? Is there too much caffeine flowing through my blood? Guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out. My time to shine, leak about Cap causing the collapse might be a ruse to get him to move strange to the gym. Yeah, 100%. I think that something like that could be going on, yeah. I was trolling, but you are generally pretty fair. Hey, thanks, man. Yeah, no, I try to stay pretty fair. Yeah. What's going on? Exactly. Yeah, 100%. GeekyCast says that Deadpool is appearing in Brand New Day. That'd be wild. Whew, that'd be crazy. Whew, that'd be wild, man. Family tends to tone down animosity since you have more important things to focus on. Yes. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it, man, you know, and I don't necessarily want to psychoanalyze myself or psychoanalyze other people. I'm just speaking honestly. Like, and then, by the way, this is just my interpretation of it. We process trauma in interesting ways. So you can be vocally, like, you could say a thing, you could feel a thing, and yet you could be wrong in the sense that your processing of these ideas is still affected by a trauma that maybe you're not even like calculating for. So yeah, it's, you know, the human mind is really interesting, and how we all process and cope is basically how we live. It's how we communicate and how we make sense of the world. Are you watching Peacemaker? Hell no. Josh, I've been having cold showers all week. Pay the water bill, man. Get that hot water back on. What are you doing? It changes your whole perspective. Oh, having kids? 100%. Having kids changes your whole perspective. In a way that's like, it sounds so trite, and you can't, it sounds so, you'd like roll your eyes at it until you have the kids. When you have the kids, you're going to understand something that other people just don't. But it's also one of those things that's like, people don't really want to hear that. If they don't have kids or they're not into it, they don't really want to hear that. And it's fine. I don't need them to. You know, I know what it is. I live in a complex and they're supposed to fix it. Well, you go knock on your landlord's door right now. You got to say, hey, man, I really need a hot shower. This is pretty unacceptable. And I'm pretty sure, according to the laws of the land, you now have to produce a fire and heat up some water and provide it to me so that I can have a hot water bath. So you could make your landlord make you a hot tub, basically. Like, you could be like, you need to find me a hot tub now. I'm pretty sure legally he is obligated to buy you a hot tub. It's an apartment complex. No, I know. Well, doesn't somebody own the complex? You gotta go find him. Do a little research. You know what I mean? Josh, it's funny how I'd like to have a conversation with you about life as much as Marvel. Crazy world. Yeah, I like talking about these sort of things. I like thinking about them, and yeah, life is cool, man. Life's cool. Life's interesting. You know what I've been thinking a lot about? If you want to get really crazy. So I've been thinking a lot about one of the best but most difficult books I've ever read. Which is a book called Being in Time by Martin Heidegger, High German philosopher. And it's a fascinating book. And I saw somebody like breaking down Heidegger recently, and it made me like think back to it, because I read Heidegger in a class. It was a 400 level course, the only 400 level course I ever took in college, and it was metaphysics. And if you've ever read, like, we're going down a rabbit hole here that is so niche and so not nerdy, but if you've ever studied any of this stuff, like if you like philosophy, you know, just in any way, you can really appreciate what like Heidegger and his metaphysics and his spatiality and like what he was trying to say about human consciousness is really interesting. Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about that. You know, maybe someday I'll make some content that like breaks down these ideas that I'm fascinated by in like a really interesting way, because I think one of the issues with philosophy is that it can feel really dry and boring. So if you try to read Being in Time is ridiculous. Like, it is a ridiculous read. And I've read Kierkegaard, and I think Kierkegaard is difficult in some ways too, but like, this dude is making up words. You know what I mean? Like, he's making up German words to describe concepts because he doesn't want the baggage of language from all this other shit. It's a very difficult read. But he's on to something. I mean, it's clearly this was an inflection point in philosophy, and it says something about human consciousness that I don't think we've actually fully unpacked yet as a society. So, been thinking a lot about that. All right, fine. I'll give you two examples. I'll give you two examples that are kind of interesting. So Heidegger talks about spatiality that's non-Newtonian. He talks about how what he calls Dasein, which is like his version of what it is to be in time, like to be in this thing. So Newtonian physics and spatiality is very simple. So like, I'm here, this microphone is here, there's space between, there's externality. In Martin, one of the things that he points out that's so interesting is like when you use a hammer, okay? And we'll get into the Marvel shit, don't worry. We're going to get into all the Marvel shit, okay? But I want you to think about this because it's really interesting. When you use a hammer, the hammer itself basically vanishes from your perception. Do you see what I mean? Try it sometime. When you go to hammer it, and when you go to use this tool, the hammer disappears from your perception. And then when you stop hitting, it reappears to your actual perception. Another example of this that's really interesting is the eyelid. So according to Newtonian physics, the eyelid is the closest thing to your vision, and yet it is the farthest thing from your sight, meaning spatiality in the metaphysical sense has less to do with how close a thing is to us physically in the Newtonian sense and more to do with how close is it to our perception. So the eyelid is as close as possible to the mechanism by which we perceive the world, and yet it is the furthest thing from our actual perception of what the world is. It is the least meaningful aspect of our whole worldview. Now, he extrapolates from this to suggest that a lot of things we believe about consciousness, and he takes aim at prior philosophers as well, a lot of what we have is that trick. It is actually forgetting that the hammer's there in the intellectual sense, because we have a flaw in our consciousness. And if that's real, it sort of opens the door for all sorts of things that we don't realize about our consciousness. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But it's a really hard read, man. It's like a really, really hard read, but yeah, good shit. Yeah, good shit. All right, should we get into some Marvel stuff, man? Because this stuff is even crazier. Oh, man, we got a lot to get into today. I can't believe we've been yapping. How long have we been yapping? How long? Oh, only 44 minutes? We could probably yap a little bit more. We'll do about an hour and then we start. I'm just kidding. Holy shit. Oh, my God. Why didn't you stop me? All right, hang on. I got to delete some shit here. All right, I think we're good. All right, I think we're good. Okay, so we got a ton of updates about Doomsday, and there's a lot I'm excited to get into with you guys. But the first one I want to start with is the least exciting one. It's kind of a boring one, but it's important for folks that want to know what the fuck is actually going on here, okay? So Daniel reported that Avengers Doomsday is about to wrap filming. It's going to wrap filming this week, okay? Now, that's kind of interesting. And one of the things I think will help you to sort of make sense of this is that although this movie got delayed by 7 months, it didn't stop shooting. So this wasn't a situation where they were in the middle of making the film and they said, oh my God, we need to stop, we need to delay, we need to recalibrate, change things. and then move forward and finish this thing off. No, that's not what happened. They actually were doing what they were doing, and they said, okay, we're just going to need more time, delay the thing, and let's just keep going. And they shot right through that, okay? Now, with it wrapping this week, that's quite interesting. That means principal photography for the majority of the shoot is done. And I'm wondering whether or not they'll have a wrap party. I would assume they will. Because I think what happens from here, like real talk, I think what happens is they go from the biggest amount of crew, the biggest amount of cast, the biggest amount of everything to like next to nothing for a while. And then they will, of course, come back to do reshoots. Okay? So we all know this. This is how the Marvel formula works. They're going to assemble the cut. They're going to look at it. They'll do internal screenings, and we'll get a ton of leaks about that shit. So that'll be exciting, right? When we get to the leaks and the assembly cut of the actual film. But they're going to assemble it. They're going to look at it. They're going to get feedback, probably some internal screenings. And then they're going to do a ton of reshoots. So I think the standard practice for Marvel reshoots is about a month. I would imagine this is going to be longer, especially with that delay. So you're probably looking at like 1, 2, potentially even 3 months of reshooting. That's to the level of Doctor Strange. And the Multiverse of Madness. That is to the level of that where they did 3 months of reshooting, basically. 6 week, 14-hour days, like, boom, like just straight through. So this is all really, really crazy. But I think the thing that's positive about this, right? Because you might be like, okay, well, what is this even news? Like, does this even matter? I think it matters, okay? Because we're 15 months away from the release. They're going to stop shooting, and they're going to put together a cut. Okay, now, one thing that I've seen, and a lot of people are really excited about this, and I agree, it's a very nice thing. You know, Secret Wars and, you know, what was the Kang Dynasty and what became Avengers Doomsday is a projects that were delayed 3 to 4 times, I believe. I'm not actually 100% sure. But I know it was like they're both coming out in 2025. Okay, one's 2025, one's 2026, one's 2026, one's 2027, one's barely in 2026, one's barely in 2027. They're almost in 2027 and 2028, right? Because they're in December. So these movies have fucking moved quite a bit. The thing that's nice about this is it means we have 15 months, maybe it's 14 months. We have over a year to finish up these visual effects. And for a movie, which I think is going to lean incredibly heavy on visual effects, that's good. Okay? I'm quite excited for that. I think that this movie should be looking absolutely incredible once it finally debuts. And a lot of folks are excited about that. It feels like we don't have that crunch going on anymore. It'll give the VFX studios plenty of time to shoot this. Now, you would imagine that a lot of what they shot is not just going to be discarded and changed. The issue here, and this was something that happened when Victoria Alonso was there, and you remember all the issues that she had with the VFX studios, and Feige's talked about this as well. Their system was broken. So they would get stuff back from a studio, like almost finished, almost completely finished, models, everything, rendering almost finished. And then they'd be like, yeah, we don't like that. We need to change it. And so the VFX studios would spend a ton of time working on stuff that would just be scrapped completely, because Marvel likes to like cut fast, move stuff around. They're a lot like Pixar in the sense where it's a movie by committee. There's a lot of changes. They test a lot and they change things a lot. That didn't work well with VFX. Okay. Now, do you guys remember there was that article where Feige said he went and talked to Gareth Edwards about how to save money on visual effects? And a little lesser known story that kind of got lost in the news cycle over the last year was that Feige dropped the budget on the last 3 Marvel movies pretty significantly. Thunderbolts had a pretty low cost. I think it was like 170. Fantastic Four had a pretty low cost of like probably around 200. And I think just given the state of the industry, this is something that Kevin knows they need to do better on. They need to cut the cost there. And by the way, take a step away from Marvel. The entire industry realizes they need to cut these costs. Okay, so the entire industry is trying to do this for cheaper, trying to do this better, et cetera, et cetera. 14 months to make these visual effects pop is going to be incredible. We're going to be getting some of the best looking shit for Marvel, period, with some of the most prolific Marvel characters, spectacle the whole way. I mean, think about the X-Men fighting the Avengers, think about Doctor Doom, think about freaking Loki, Thor, all this shit. Like, dude, we're about to get a feast. So that in and of itself is really exciting for the visual effects part. They will make some adjustments. We can hope that due to this new philosophy and not wanting to waste money on visual effects, they're not going to make the VFX artists work for 4 months here on shit that they're going to cut in 5 months when they look at it and change it. This seems like a much better strategy and a much better schedule for creating this thing and making it. So that's good. I think the next steps will be hearing some stuff kind of come out of the cut. We might even get some feedback as far as how people feel it's going. This is something we got with Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, and Superman, right? The screenings do tend to leak, even the internal ones. So we might get some feedback, you know, maybe from Jeff Snyder or some other folks that'll be like, hey, there's a cut of Doomsday out there and it's looking rough. Or, hey, there's a cut of Doomsday out there and damn, Marvel really thinks they have something there, you know? So we'll expect to hear something like that in the next couple of weeks here. And then I would expect to hear about the reshoots because it's just too big. It's too big. It's too many actors, agents, managers, travel, crew, set design. It's too much. We will know about it and we'll basically know probably when they're going to be going back, for how long they're going to be shooting. And we might even have an idea of what they're going to be shooting, which is crazy. So anyway, that's all the updates. That's all the updates as far as it just wrapped. Doomsday, maybe one of the biggest, most important movies in the last 10 years, has wrapped filming or is wrapping filming this week with all the caveats, of course. So what do you think about that? We'll stay on this for just a minute here. Anybody got any thoughts, feedback, comments about this? I don't think they're presenting screenings until next year. They probably won't do public screenings until next year, but they will do internal screenings. Marvel is very, very crazy about their testing. Like that's why we get so many leaks, is they test the shit out of these movies. Internally, meaning a bunch of Disney employees and their families will watch it. It's possible they will get a actual test screenings maybe early next year or something like that. But yeah. I see what you're saying. Listen, Tony solving time travel in the way he did says something about Doomsday. I think so too, yeah. Super Bowl trailer, maybe a Super Bowl teaser, but the movie would still be about a year away at that point, right? Like 9 months, 10 months away. When did they start shooting this movie? What, like 3 months ago or something like that? I think it was literally a 5-month shoot. I believe they shot, I could be wrong about this, but I believe they shot for 5 months. Maybe 3 to 4. Maybe 3 to 4. But yeah. Great minds shared names. I think that's how it goes. Wait, what? Disney will also do previs online screenings as well. Interesting. Okay. Why don't you get one of those for me then? Think they will do so many reshoots so it doesn't mean so much? Yeah, sure. I mean, but yeah, it's just a silly way to think of it, man. I understand what you're trying to say, but it's a silly way to think of it. You're saying, well, they're just going to do reshoots, so what does this matter? No, this matters because they are closer to the reshoots. It's a part of the process. So it's still a good sign because it means like, hey, they got a shit ton of shooting done. They have enough to assemble it. They're going to look at it and make the changes, right? I think they don't announce the second half of the cast until SDCC. Yeah, maybe, yeah. I was low-key thinking Super Bowl, brand new day trailer would fit with, yeah, if anything, brand new day for the Super Bowl feels great. That feels perfect, man. Ooh, that would be great. Yeah. The Roosters are going to cook, hopefully, but don't let them anywhere near the color grading. Gray everywhere. It's exhausting. I like the color of the old Russo movies, but sure. Us nerds need a 3 hours Avengers post, please cut. I'd pay Disney Plus for real. What? What, brother? What are you saying? Oh, post-release. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Some like extra long cut or whatever. Yeah, that'd be cool. Man, if that spine-tearing scene is actually Iron Man and not Thanos. Oh, no! Brand new day Super Bowl trailer gonna hit like crack in the 80s. God damn, dog. Yeah. I could see a teaser 1 year from release, though, like Odyssey did. Yeah, a little teaser. Sure, a little teaser. Maybe something like that. Yeah, I mean, I think they're cooking with gas, so yeah. Doom and Wanda bond over losing their families, and that's why they work together, maybe? Bro, I've got a theory on Wanda and Doom that's going to blow your mind, bro. Oh my God. I have the perfect way that I would do it. Yeah. Or the Hulk spine ripped. Oh no, not Hulk. What did Hulk do? Bleh, I hope it doesn't. Tell us. I will tell you. It's in my notes, but we got to get there. We got 1, 2, 3 more topics, and then we'll get there. Give us the theory. We need it. Just chill. You'll get it. All right. Anything else on this stuff, man? We all understand what's going on with Doomsday, right? It's wrapped. They're going to do an assembly cut, and then they're going to reshoot. That's where we're at, guys. And I feel good about it. I feel good about it. We're going to find out, though. Maybe the cut will have us really scared. Like, maybe Jeff Snyder's going to be like, Marvel's cooked. Robert Downey Jr. quit after he saw the cut. You know what I mean? We'll see. But for now, guys, that's where we are at. Let's see if we crash the stream. You can't crash me. You can't crash me, stream. I crash you. You don't crash me, I crash you. I have never... Wait, what? I have never heard they figured out the ending, so hopefully it's good. Oh, bro, the ending of Doomsday, they've known forever. The ending is like... The ending's actually pretty simple, I think. The stream spine ripped. Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Yeah, a little bit. Not my stream spine. Take my eyes, but not the stream spine, yeah? All right, let's get into some of these other topics, man. We're going to get juicier and juicier as we go. I hope you guys are ready for the fucking juice, baby. All right, let's talk about something that has me so damn excited. Oh, my God, I'm so hyped. And by the way, too, I just want to brag a little bit. Can I brag a little bit? I would like to brag about my fucking instincts. Because there's this scooper out there, okay? Which, to be honest with you, there's a scoop. I like this scooper. Like, she and I are very friendly. Okay? But she is a hater. She hides the truth. She is manipulating the news cycle in order to try to get people to turn on Kevin Feige even further and to get really butthurt about all this stuff. And it is my time to shine. Hello. And so what I'm saying is, like, dude, when Shine had those scoops where she was saying, like, oh, it's a stupid plot. He just wants to kill Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers called all the incursions. Doomsday's going to suck balls. There's nothing cool about it. There's no reason he looks like RDJ, you know, all this other stuff. My instincts were the first thing that told me, like, no way. Like, there's just no way. And my instincts were correct. And by the way, I did hear from some people after that she wasn't correct, which felt great. But until these people started coming out and confirming this stuff, it was still on shaky ground for me. I was like, oh, damn. Like, what if she is right? Okay. So anyway, I'm not saying that you should harass Shine. And I'm certainly not saying that every single post that she makes on Twitter should be flooded with comments talking about how she's a hater and that she should delete her account. I am certainly not saying that you should all try to do that at least once or twice a day. That's not what I'm trying to say. But what I am saying is, this bitch be lying, bro. Like, this bitch be crazy. She be lying like, oh my God, it's nuts. Now, what's the story, though? What's the real scoop? What am I actually talking about here? I'm talking about a vendetta against the multiverse. Let me see if I can pull this up. This is really chill. So, according to Daniel RPK, because we got hit with a 1-2 punch yesterday. We got hit with a 1-2 punch from the pooper scoopers. The first hit was Daniel RPK. And the second was Alex, okay? So just walk with me on this. Dr. Doom will reportedly have a vendetta against the multiverse in Avengers Doomsday. And this is so good to hear. And it's good to hear from Daniel because, look, literally right up until this came out, the only person that was suggesting that Doom's motivation would be connected to the multiverse was Alex Perez. Everybody else had either played it coy or been very vague and hadn't like actually taken a step out at all to explain what Doom's motivation was in any way, shape, or form. And again, it seemed like what Shine was saying was to literally get people to think it was lame and had nothing to do with the multiverse. I mean, I guess Incursions technically have to do with the multiverse, and we'll explore that a bit here as well. But hearing this from Daniel to say that he has a vendetta against the multiverse was like the very first time that anybody corroborated the stuff that Alex Perez had been reporting about Doom's motivation. Now, a couple of different things we got to discuss here. The word vendetta is really, really interesting. So I ask you, chat, what do you think a vendetta is? What do you think a vendetta is? And why would Doom have a vendetta against the multiverse? Right? It means it's personal, yeah. It means it's going to be nasty. V for Vendetta is in Doomsday confirmed. Yes. A car from the 80s. What? Vendetta equals personal beef. It did him wrong, and he wants revenge. And I took that shit personally. Yes, the Michael Jordan meme, yeah. Because they wiped out his universe. Maybe. A reason to take revenge because he was deprived of a life. Wow. Yeah, you guys are on it, okay? And then Prophet says, imagine Doom watching the Toby train scene or bank fight with Doc Doom from a distance. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. And I actually hope that stuff like that happens. But anyway, more to the point. Let's get into this. Vendetta is a really interesting word. Vendetta is specific. I think vendetta is crystal clear. And I think if he has a vendetta against the multiverse, it means it is personal. There's something about the multiverse that he finds disgusting. And it can't be. I love how much you guys said it has to be personal. Because that's the key factor here. Simply the fact that incursions were caused and the multiverse itself will inevitably end in collapse is not enough to create a vendetta. I want to repeat that point because it's very important. Simply realizing that the multiverse is inevitably going to lead to collapse is not enough to create a vendetta. Do you understand that? Does everybody understand what I'm saying there? That is not enough to make it personal, because that's actually the most impersonal thing that you could possibly be mad about. Oh, so a natural evolution of the universe is that it ends in chaos and then there's going to be incursions and then there's that's actually the least personal shit ever. How could you have a vendetta against a natural part of like just what happens in the universe? No fucking way. That is not vendetta. That's like, maybe he's mad. You know what I mean? Like, maybe he doesn't like it. And it reminds me a little bit of, so In Time Runs Out, right? And in the whole Hickman thing, which is so great, and we've revisited before, it all starts with Reed Richards saying, everything dies. Everything dies. And I accept that. But what I cannot accept, what I will not accept, is an unnatural early demise of everything. So even Reed is like, hey, everything dies. I'm okay with that. And if I thought that this was just something natural happening, I'd be chill with it. But this is not natural. Something is happening. Something is destroying the multiverse. It's destroying it early, and that's not okay. Even that is not a vendetta, though. It's not like you have a vendetta against it. You just realize it's not okay, and you feel the responsibility to stop it. This word vendetta means it's personal. Okay? Now, going back to all the stuff that Alex Perez has been talking about, right? Alex has been suggesting that Doom's motivation is connected to the multiverse that was constructed by He Who Remains. Okay, and for a while, all Alex would say is like a little bit of a tease here, a little bit of a tease there, that there might have been a version of the multiverse before this, or, you know, maybe there was something before He Remains, this, that, second, and third. More recently, Alex has come out to clarify and say that there was a plan to have a prime universe. That prime universe is the version of the universe where Doctor Doom, the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, the Wakandans, the Avengers, the X-Men, all of them exist in a single universe, just like the comic books, okay? That timeline exists. Then there, you know what? Let me do this, because you need to see my hands when I do all the hand puppet things, okay? So that's the timeline, okay? Then you get multiversal war. He Who Remains ends the multiversal war. Then he goes all the way back And he takes the prime timeline and he separates it out into strands. That's what the sacred timeline is. The sacred timeline is X-Men, you go here. Fantastic Four, you go here. Spider-Man, you go here. X-Men, you go here. And then eventually, yes, they all start popping up in each other. But what it seems like is He Who Remains did this on purpose for some reason. We don't understand why exactly, but it connects to something else that Alex recently said, okay? And this one's wild. This was maybe a month ago that he said this. He said that in the original version for Doctor Doom, because Doom was going to pop up in Secret Wars even before Kang got in trouble and everybody realized Kang was lame, Doom was going to be in Secret Wars. What Alex was explaining was that in the original plan, it would be explained that He Who Remains separated certain elements out of the sacred timeline because they were too dangerous. And those things, mostly the X-Men and Doctor Doom, after Secret Wars would be put back into the timeline. And in fact, Doom was supposed to be the big bad of the mutant saga because both the mutants and Doctor Doom were put to the sideline by He Who Remains. The sacred timeline was given priority. They were pushed to the side. And then eventually, after the Secret Wars, and they're put back into the regular timeline, what Alex suggested was they would do something with Doom that would make the audience be like, oh shit, maybe Kang was right. Maybe Doom shouldn't have existed. Maybe this is too wild. And in fact, maybe the X-Men should not have existed as well. Now, the only reason you need to know that is because that continues to show you why Alex said what he said about Doom and the other universes. Because if the plan was always that He remains separated out, it's unnatural. That loop was going to end, and then we're going to get back into a regular reset Marvel universe with Doom as the big bad and the mutants. Well, all that happened now was they moved that from the mutant saga, and they've slammed it into Doomsday. That's what Alex reported. Like, so that's how they changed it. So Doom was going to be sort of a footnote in Secret Wars, maybe even eventually the big bad that they had to betray or whatever, right? And then it was going to be like the big bad of the next saga. Okay, now that's Doomsday. So I think what they're going to do, and this is something that Alex has teased as well, is they're going to make it so Doom is going to understand this about the multiverse. And let me just ask you the question. It's the most obvious question ever, and we all know where this is going, but I'll ask it for the sake of landing the plane, so to speak, right? If Doctor Doom goes out into the multiverse, he sees the Incursion, and he's like, oh man, Incursions are bad. And he looks out into the multiverse, and then he sees the sacred timeline. And then he learns about the TVA, and then he learns about Kang. And then he realizes, oh my God, this entire multiverse is fake because it's all branching off of a manipulated timeline that Kang made lame as fuck. Is that enough to give Doctor Doom a vendetta against the multiverse? Yes or no? That's the question. Does that give Doom a vendetta against the multiverse? Obviously. You guys are saying no. That's crazy to me. Of course it does. Number one, I think you don't understand the character of Doom. If you're saying no, you straight up don't understand the character of Doom. And that's okay, but you just don't understand Victor Von Doom. So to Victor Von Doom, the idea that there was a natural version of reality that then got manipulated and he was pulled out and made less significant by a different character, Victor Von Doom, who's so full of pride, would not abide that. 0% chance that a character like Victor Von Doom would be able to live with the fact that his entire existence is bastardized and changed because some other super powerful being beat a war and then remade reality. Does it make more sense now? Yeah, and then that's another thing. So Trev points out corrupting Doom to be an Iron Man would be a giant insult as well. Of course. Now that I'm just not 100% sure on because that's like my personal theory. I'm not sure that they're even going to do this, but let's take it there. Let's take it there. Maybe it's not just that Victor was pulled out of that timeline. Maybe it's that Victor was pulled out of that timeline, meaning the essence of Doom was removed from the sacred timeline. But then there's this variant of him, this character that has to exist, that is born as Victor, but does not live the life of Victor to learn magic and technology. And what if that character on the sacred timeline is adopted by the Starks and raised to be Tony Stark? And to take it a step further, what if Kang did this on purpose to prevent the Victor Von Doom variant on the sacred timeline from being a threat to him? Yeah, no, that part's a reach, 100%. That part's a reach, and that's why, like, I don't bring it up all the time. I'm not sure that that's what's going on. But this idea of a vendetta against the multiverse, like, here's what I would want you to tell me. What else could there be? I saw some people saying it could be his family. Doctor Doom's family is destroyed. Okay? Again, you just don't know the character of Doom. You just don't know the character of Doom. Doom doesn't even have a fucking family. What family? Who are you talking about? His mother that dies when he's a child? His father that dies when he's a child? The love of his life that he abandons to go become Doctor Doom? What family are you talking about? Victor Von Doom becomes Doom, an antithesis of the idea of family. He doesn't have a family. Doom needs no family. Why the fuck would Victor need a family? Come on, man. Like, this guy, his family. So the multiverse just destroys his perfect fucking family, and then he just becomes Doctor Doom and gets all butthurt and he has a vendetta against the multiverse because it so carelessly destroyed his family. Well, then, let me ask you this. How does he then become a god? He's going to become God Emperor Doom, right? How does he become a god? So you think just a random-ass character that's an Iron Man variant whose family gets destroyed by the multiverse and then he becomes Doom, you think that guy's just going to also stumble into becoming a god? No, and in fact, I'll jump ahead just a little bit here because there's a part in what Alex is describing where he's talking about the power set of Doom, okay? And he says Doom's vast genius from studying the multiverse is a part of his power, okay? So if Doom is studying the multiverse, and that's a source of his power, and he has a vendetta against the multiverse, don't you think these things are connected? So to me, and it's, of course, it's up for grabs. It's speculation. We don't know 100%, right? But to me, this is the biggest cosign yet that what is going on with RDJ Doctor Doom, because again, in order for you to not see where I am coming from right now, then you must imagine that there's zero actual reason that RDJ was cast as Doctor Doom, which some people still believe to this day, even though the Russo brothers said on stage at San Diego Comic-Con 2 years ago, nobody else in the world could play Doctor Doom, this version of Doctor Doom. It had to be him because of the power of the Marvel multi-universe. That's what Joe Russo said. So, like, if you really think there's nothing to that, there's nothing that they're cooking, you just haven't been paying attention. That is absolutely the deal. That's what they're cooking. Yeah. Tony being Victor variant is the best way to go. I think so, yeah. What if an Iron Man becomes Doom in the same way that Strange became Dark Supreme Strange in What If? Sure, I'm not saying that's not possible. What I'm suggesting to you is that cannot possibly be the activating idea that McFeely had. That cannot possibly be the thing that they're all really excited about. There's something else going on. Not to say that that's not cool, but you're talking about like just some mix and match multiversal shit, which is great. Like, one of my favorite things they did in Battleworld was they made the Punisher get possessed by the soul of Doctor Strange. And so the Punisher used these, like, fucking spiritual guns and shit. It was crazy. But like, that's not a good enough reason to bring RDJ back. You know what I mean? Like, it's fun. Don't get me wrong. That's cool. That's fun, nerdy shit. But I believe there's more to it. I believe what they're doing has a purpose. Yeah. All right. Well, that's just the first one, dude. That's just the first one here about Doctor Doom's shit. And actually, there's one other thing I want to read here. There's one other thing I want to read for you, okay? And maybe this will help. Maybe this will help you guys to understand, okay? Some of you I just don't know about, but maybe some of you will get this. So the question to Alex was, what will make Doomsday's story stand out amongst all other MCU films that will hopefully ensure it's a worthy successor to the Russo's previous MCU work? Alex's answer here is long, but he says, the short answer is yes. The long answer is a pattern. The Russos have always had one common pattern in most of their MCU films. That pattern being making the antagonists of their film have a valid motivation to justify their actions. Alexander Pierce and the Winter Soldier believed that if humanity were left unchecked without oversight, chaos would ensue because of free will. That's why he established the Project Insight with Hydra. With Baron Zemo in Civil War, his family died in the Sokovia fight during Age of Ultron, and as a result of the Avengers' battle with Ultron. So he sought to destroy the Avengers within, making them fight each other. With Thanos, he saw the overpopulation as a ultimate threat to existence, so he sought to eliminate half of all life at random to restore balance to the universe. With Doom, it will be similar. A man scorned by the incursions that are happening across the multiverse, dooming countless realities, and he wants to bring an end to all of that by any means necessary. So that's kind of interesting, you know? And again, he does say here that he's scorned by the incursions. I can't imagine how or why Doom specifically would be scorned by the incursions if it were not connected to the Prime universe. For me, I just don't see a way that that happens. Unless he's not from 828 and his universe was destroyed. That's possible, you know what I mean? Look, there's some theories here. I've got a pretty crazy theory. And in fact, let's just get into the next one, man, because I've got some really crazy theories about this. But we need to talk about the X-Men, okay? We need to talk about the X-Men. Because this part is really cool and exciting for me. Did you see what Daniel said about the X-Men universe, guys? Did you see this shit? All right. So, to me, this is probably the coolest new piece of information for Doomsday that we've gotten in like 6 to 7 months. We get a lot of leaks, a lot of rumors, this, that, second, and the third, interpretations of different things. This is one of... Hang on now. Hang on now, everybody. Hey, oh, hang on now. Hang on now, chat. Woo! Woo! Hang on now. I feel like having another cup of coffee. I feel like we got to push it even further, man. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay, you want to try this next one here? We got to talk about the X-Men. Did you guys see this fucking X-Men thing? Just tell me right now before we get into this segment. Are you guys excited about this X-Men shit? Did you even see it? Should I get another coffee going? Woo! Gonna need another coffee. Stream getting real low. Oh no. Huge dab time? I don't know what that means, but hell yeah. All right, let's try this again. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so we got to talk about the freaking X-Men up in this bitch. Oh, man, I was just explaining this to you guys, but we get all kinds of info. We've been getting a ton of info about all the Marvel shit, but really Doomsday, right? It's really all about Doomsday. This is the first piece of new info that we've gotten in maybe 6 to 7 months that I think really does change things. And I'm excited. I'm excited. Okay. So this has to do with the X-Men. Daniel had something he said yesterday that was mind-blowing to me. Check this out right here, okay? It says, in Avengers Doomsday, the X-Men universe is on a path to destroy other universes, including the MCU's Earth 616. Okay, now, right off the bat, I must issue a bit of a warning here, right? This is clearly just a little tease from Daniel. I'm about to speculate an insane amount. So just take it as speculation. It's speculation. We don't know for sure. But do you know what this has me thinking? Do you know why this has me so excited? I was kind of under this impression that the X-Men in Doomsday would be kind of just chilling. And then, obviously, Maria Rambeau is there. And the incursions are happening, and it's a big problem. But there's something interesting when you think back to the Marvels. Remember that Beast says something like, you're from a different universe, which is impossible, but here we are. Kind of suggesting that the people of that universe had a little bit of a familiarity with the multiverse and multi-universes. Okay? So I was kind of under the impression that maybe this is just an X-Men universe, the multiverse is collapsing, and these X-Men are going to be victims. They're going to be victims, and they're going to be victims of circumstance, and we're going to feel bad for them. We're going to put them at odds with the 616, and it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be like, oh, shit, like, sorry about this, but you're going to have to go. Well, now, news scoop from Daniel says they're on a path to destroy other universes, including the MCU's Earth 616. Guys, first thing this makes me think of is Time Runs Out, the Jonathan Hickman story, and other versions of the Illuminati that were out there playing what is known as the Game of Worlds. Oh, I can't wait to gush about this shit, man. Okay, so the Game of Worlds. It was the idea that as the multiverse was collapsing, many different universes learned about it and essentially gathered up a team and did what they could to try to stop it. And they would run into different things. Sometimes they would run into different universes. Sometimes they would be at odds with the Illuminati from 616. Sometimes the Illuminati from 616 would just watch through the bridge and we would watch other universes die. There was even a universe where Reed and Doom work together. Reed gets killed. Or no, Doom gets killed. It devastates that version of Reed, and then Reed fights against them, and then they die too. And there were other people. So there were like the Black Swans, Rabom Allah. There were the Map Makers. There were the All-Seeing Eyes. There were all sorts of different groups out there playing this thing called the Game of Worlds, right? Now, look. Doomsday is seemingly kind of coming out of nowhere. You know, Thunderbolt sets it up a bit. Fantastic Four sets it up a bit, but not really, guys. We're damn sure not getting the same setup that we got in the Hickman stuff, right? However, I think Doomsday is Time Runs Out. And in fact, we might see a 1-2 punch with Doomsday and then the secret movie that they drop in 2027 during the summer, which could be a prequel that shows you what was happening during Time Runs Out and the Game of Worlds, right? It's seeming more and more like Doomsday itself literally will be Time Runs Out. And we're going to learn about these other universes. I would venture to say we're going to learn about the Fantastic Four universe. We'll spend time in 616. We'll spend time in 10005, which is the X-Men universe. And I expect a Wakandan universe as well. I'm definitely thinking after that light show and the concept art of the new T'Challa, I definitely think we're getting a T'Challa universe, a fucking Black Panther, a Wakanda-esque utopia universe. And I think you're going to be seeing these universes battle against each other. Alex kind of hinted that Toby Maguire's universe might be seen in Doomsday as well. And what a way to open the film. What if we see Toby Maguire's universe and a portal opens and the fucking Fox X-Men come in there and they destroy him and they destroy that universe? Okay, so that's where my head goes to because, dude, Time Runs Out. That was the joy. That was a part of what made Hickman's run so great was there's all this story and build-up, and it was the tragic cost of life and the tragic compromises and the sacrifices that the heroes had to make, billions of lives being destroyed to try to save other billions of lives, okay? So, look, again, this is speculation. Let's try to curb our enthusiasm, but oh my God, the X-Men universe is on a path to destroy other universes. Now, I'm going to take this to another place that's really crazy, and that has to do with the Scarlet Witch, okay? To combine to this story, Alex Perez said yesterday that he's heard that Wanda will be a part of the X-Men universe. So Elizabeth Olsen as the Scarlet Witch is going to be in Doomsday. According to Chris Claremont, there'll be multiple versions, the evil and the good version of Wanda in Doomsday. Okay. And so, according to Alex Perez, Wanda will be in the X-Men universe. Magneto will be ruling Genosha. She will be his daughter and the royal family. So, Polaris, friggin' Pietro, and Wanda, and then Magnus, or Eric, they're the rulers. That's the royal X-Men family. Okay, now, hold that thought. If this X-Men universe is destroying other universes, then the Illuminati of this X-Men universe, or what they might call, and I want you to write this down or just keep it in your brain, the New Society. I just want you to I shouldn't even say that. Just remember the New Society, okay? I think there will be a group on that X-Men universe that will be something like the Illuminati, maybe called the Great Society, and they're out there studying the multiverse. In fact, they're probably out there destroying universes. And in fact, won't it be interesting if they're doing this and Professor Xavier's keeping it a secret, Magnus is keeping it a secret, maybe the Scarlet Witch is keeping it a secret, right? That would be nuts, dude. It could also explain why Doom, and this, dude, this is like, dude, I'm telling you, we're fucking cooking, baby. We're fucking cooking. I got two more things to tell you that are going to blow your fucking mind. Okay? Number one, this actually would explain why Doom convinces the Avengers to go fight the X-Men universe. Because look, on the one hand, you might say, oh, they need to stop the incursion. They need to get Monica out of there. Totally. But why do they need to send the Sentinels? Why do they need to attack the X-Mansion? That is a little too crazy. Right? I could understand them being like, hey, we need to get our friend back. We cannot have the incursion going on. And the other question would be like, why wouldn't the X-Men universe just give her back? Why wouldn't the X-Men universe just give her back? Oh, I've got an explanation. They've been out there fucking killing universes. And Doom knows it, and he also knows how formidable they are. That's why he goes to 616. That's why he's going to attack the X-Men. That's why the Sentinels will be used. Because this X-Men universe is not just a happy-go-lucky victim X-Men universe. This X-Men universe is killing other universes. And as somebody points out in chat, they do have the Bangles. Binary has the Bangles. It's possible Binary is the one letting them into other universes, and then Wanda goes into the universe and fucks them up. Okay, again, we're just speculating here, but let me tell you something else that's going to blow your mind. And if this is what it is, if they actually do this, I'm going to stand up in the theater and start hooting and hollering, because this would be so perfect, okay? Let's talk about Doctor Doom and Wanda Maximoff. Now, for the longest time, we've heard rumors that Wanda and Doom will be together in some capacity in this film, that they're going to be even romantically involved. But how does that make sense? With everything else that we've heard, it's very difficult to imagine that Doom has a girlfriend named Wanda and that she's the Scarlet Witch. Like, you try to take all these things you hear and you fit them into what you think you know about the movie, right? And this particular one is hard to reconcile. Now, it could be the Wanda from our universe. Okay. But then, are you telling me that Doom's going to show up at Avengers Tower with the Fantastic Four and Wanda? And he's going to be like, yo, guys, I'm Doom, but I'm actually Tony. So you know me because you knew my variant Tony. By the way, this is the Fantastic Four. My buddy Reed, his family. Oh, and you know this gal, this Wanda, we've been dating for some time. She's pretty cool. You think that's what it is? Man, shut the fuck up. That would be so lame and stupid. But I got a way that they could make it happen. Let's go back to the Game of Worlds. What's the Game of Worlds? The Game of Worlds is all these people like Doctor Doom, like Doctor Strange and Clea, and potentially like the X-Men of this 10005 universe are out there destroying universes. They're out there killing other realities to try to stop incursions. Well, who's the most powerful X-Men? I mean, it could be Phoenix, but we know that Wanda is very powerful. We know that. And we know Wanda has kind of popped off in other universes, and we know there's this big, thing in the Darkhold, prophecy, that the Scarlet Witch is either there to destroy the cosmos or rule over the cosmos. So if I'm Magneto or I'm a member of the Illuminati in the X-Men universe, and we're destroying universes, I'm using the Scarlet Witch to do this. So I'm having the Scarlet Witch, my daughter or, friend of mine or whatever, go out there and destroy universes. Okay. Well, I'm reminded of the Black Swan. The Black Swan is a person that has their universe destroyed and then is recruited by Doctor Doom when she's very young. And then she joins in an actual religion, worshiping Rabum Allah. So, I'm going to give you a scenario. Doctor Doom begins to study the multiverse, understands what's going on, and he's out there trying to stop the incursions. Wanda is out there destroying universes, trying to decide what's going on, and she's out there trying to play the Game of Worlds. Well, what if these two beings meet? What if these two beings show up to a universe and decide they should destroy it together? And what if Victor Von Doom manipulates this Wanda into siding with him? Now, I always thought, just because it's Doctor Doom and I know Doom from the comics and all that, I've always thought that Doom was going to trick people and flip the script eventually in the movie. So he's pretending to be Tony Stark. He's pretending to get help from the Avengers. He's going after the X-Men. But I assume this is all a machination, and I assume at some point it's going to flip on its head. I always thought a person on that X-Men universe would be working with Doom. Because this X-Men universe, like, even before we knew that they might be evil and they're out there destroying universes, just the fact that they exist and they're a big part of this film, Doom is going to have relationships with them. Doom is, like, the very first day of shooting was RDJ as Doctor Doom shooting internal scenes in the X-Mansion. That was confirmed. So Doom has already shot scenes inside the X-Mansion. Okay? I always thought a member of this X-Men group was going to flip. So I kind of thought it would be Magneto. Like, I thought they'd be fighting against them, Charles and Magneto fighting against Doom and the Avengers, and all of a sudden Magneto lets the guard down. He allows Doom to come in, and he says, "I'm sorry, Charles. I'm going to side with Victor. He's the one that's going to give us a place in the new world." Right? And I was like, oh shit, that would be crazy. Like, the X-Men fighting against Doom, and then all of a sudden, like, one of them's his lieutenants. Like, one of them's like, oh shit, I actually side with Victor. But now, I think it could be Wanda. I think it deadass could be Wanda Maximoff, and she's the one that's going to flip on that X-Men universe. And there could be something with her father, because it's an interesting character thing where Magneto always wants to rule, control, and have power. And as his daughter, you have some of those same ambitions, but maybe you feel like your father is doing it wrong. Maybe the daughter feels that she can side with Victor. Victor claims all the same things that her father always did, but Victor seems to have the power to actually make it happen. You know what I mean? So there's like a character way to get there, where she's going to support Victor and now turn on her X-Men universe. She stands at his side. That's how they are romantic partners. It explains all of the old leaks. It also set up in the Game of Worlds and that whole crazy thing, right? So, dude, I'm just telling you, like, this is a lot of speculation for sure. But considering a lot of the other stuff that we've heard about, I think they're cooking here. I think they're cooking. The questions I have is, how many people are doing this because Charles is sus in comics. He is a sus motherfucker. But in the movies, he's usually depicted as like being the good one. They just keep it really simple. Charles is good. Will this be the first time that we get the Charles is sus thing? Does Charles know about the Game of Worlds? Is Charles saying, yes, let's destroy this universe? I don't know. Is Magneto saying that? How many people in the X-Men universe know that that's what's going on? If that is what's going on. Right? So that's my number one question is like, who knows about this? Because in 616, by the way, this was a big point of contention. Captain America and the regular Avengers did not know the Illuminati was doing this shit. At some point, Cap realizes he gets his memories back, and he realizes that they're out there killing worlds, and then he goes to hunt down the Illuminati at all costs. So maybe the people of the X-Men universe don't even know that their Illuminati is out there destroying worlds. And everything we just talked about, right? We just yabbed for like 15 minutes here. Everything I just talked about is all juicy. It makes the movie seem so much more interesting to me. It's all the flavor I was looking for from Time Runs Out. And just a simple little scoop about how this X-Men universe is destroying universes. Holy shit. That activates all sorts of ideas for me, man. That's really fucking cool. And also, so much cooler than what My Time to Shine was trying to make this movie out to be. I mean, dude, if you ask Shine, and I'm not even kidding, like, I'm not trying to be rude. You deadass ask her what the movie's about, she'll be like, oh, it's just lame, and they're just doing this, and it's lame. No. The Russo brothers have been thinking about how to utilize the X-Men for like 8 fucking years. They have incredible ideas for how to utilize these characters, how to put this together. I'm not saying we know for sure Doomsday is going to be perfect. Hell no, that's not what I'm saying. But as a Marvel fan, brother, they're cooking. We've been waiting for this. This is the main course. Like, this is going to be juicy, baby. So, I love this scoop, man. I think it's so cool. X-Men destroying other universes. What do you all think? I want to know what you guys think about this. Like, what do you think about this? Because it's wild to me, brother. Oh, this is... Oh, dude, if we're going to get to see evil X-Men Illuminati actually taking out planets, like, deadass, they could kill Toby's universe in the first fucking scene, dude. Oh my God. Oh my God. Josh, you should start a catering business because goddamn, you cooking W this one. Yeah, we're cooking. I'm so sweaty right now. Yeah, man. I wonder if Doom gets called Tony and then starts referring to himself as Tony just to play on people. Yeah, maybe. Onslaught. Ooh, that could be wild, brother. Onslaught. I feel like fan theories are always way cooler than what they actually do. Yeah. I know that feeling. I'm familiar with that. Yeah. The Exodus says, Juicy is Wanda joining an evil version of the guy who caused her parents, Pietro Vision, to die. Wanda and Tony is such a huge unresolved thread. Yeah. Yeah, there's something to that. I mean, the other thing that I think is really weird about this, right? So Doom, if this happens, Doom is manipulating her. Like, you guys understand that? If this is real, Doom is manipulating her, which, by the way, is different. In the comics, he's a little bit more pure intentioned. Of course, he's Dr. Doom. But, like, if they go this route in the film, he is manipulating her. And one of the reasons I know that is because that's not Wanda he's standing next to in that concept art. It's Sue. So this dude is trifling. He's double timing. So on the one hand, he's flirting with the Scarlet Witch to use her power. And then when it all comes to Battleworld, he's going to be married to Sue. And he's going to have Franklin as a kid, right? Yeah. Kaylin J says, that's very spooky. The mutant utopia is painted as a peaceful universe, but the truth is uncovered. I also wonder if Doom will take Binary's bangles. Yeah, there's something there. I wonder if the other universes are like that as well now. You know? Yeah, it truly is interesting that you would present a utopia and then there's this really dark secret. But again, that is Time Runs Out. That was the juice of Time Runs Out. So if they found a way to figure that out, that's cool, man. Yeah, that's cool. What if Steve goes after evil Illuminati and that's how Doom goes after Cap? Yeah, maybe. There could be something to that, yeah. Would Doom try to take Wakanda's powers? Yeah, I would say so, certainly. But there's just other artifacts within the multiverse that are potentially more powerful than that. But, yeah, sure. I think the secret middle movie is going to, quote, Empire Strikes Back of the trilogy. If there is a secret middle movie, I would expect it's going to explain some of the things that we see in Doomsday. And I think that would be the time runs out stuff, right? So maybe the Black Priest, the Black Swans, Illuminati and other universes. Yeah. Javier Mendez, appreciate you, brother. Thanks for the $2 holla. How do you see Wakanda universe fit into this? So I would imagine... So it's going to kind of depend on a couple of different things, because unlike the X-Men and Doctor Doom, we do have some evidence of like mutants and Wakandans in 616. So the thing that's tough, right, is Wakanda and the Black Panther and everybody, they exist in the sacred timeline. So perhaps if there is a Black Panther universe, a Wakandan universe, it would be more the fact that like in the 60s, T'Challa was there. Because, like, here's something that's kind of interesting. In 838, Doctor Strange happens earlier. His accident happens 4 years earlier. Therefore, he already has the powers by the time Thanos arrives. And we know that Doctor Strange is still performing surgery in 616 when Thanos arrives because of Hulk's conversation with the Ancient One. The point is, in the Sacred Timeline, it seems like things were delayed. Maybe they were inevitable, but they were delayed. So, like, the X-Men are barely starting to pop up, right? Mutant genes starting to pop up. Wakanda starting to assert itself. Maybe the vibranium itself doesn't get discovered as early in 616. So, what I think, if there is a Wakandan universe, it is probably the case that T'Challa happened way earlier, and that's why Toussaint is aged up now as T'Challa. So we're like a generation ahead, and that whole universe probably just has way more technology, because I would imagine it's like a version where T'Challa enters the world and actually gives its tech out, and his father like actually does it. Yeah. That's just my interpretation of it, but yeah. Yeah, Space Wakanda, exactly. Like, there's been versions of this in the comics, but yeah. Yeah. T'Challa, son of T'Chaka, not T'Child. Well, unfortunately, guys, I think it's going to be T'Child. I think it is going to be T'Child, and I think what they'll say is T'Challa existed, lived a whole long life, raised his son, built the empire, but he did die. It's a natural death. He died. And now you've got this T'Challa. And I know we don't all love that, and, you know, I'm not going to get into the weeds on that, but I think that's what it is. Just from the reporting, just from what I've heard, that's what I think it is. Now, you could just as easily, if I were Marvel, you could literally just as easily say, oh, well, yeah, but there's also still a T'Challa in this universe, and maybe it's father and son. You could absolutely just as easily do that. But I'm just telling you what I think they're going to do, and it's not that. Do you think we'll see Nick Cage as Ghost Rider in Doomsday or Secret Wars? Yes, but I think it's more of a Secret Wars thing. All right, anything else on this shit with the universes, the evil X-Men, the Wanda's stuff? This is all pretty crazy. Any other comments on this? How will they go about actually destroying the universes? Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, if you look at Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, right? When we go to that universe where that evil Stephen Strange is, his universe has been destroyed. And that Stephen says, I was protecting my universe until I lost to him. Who is him? And why does it now look like his universe is totally fucked? Is that what it looks like? Like, are we just going to visit more universes like that? I'm not really sure. That's a good question. Yeah. Doom Death Star leak from back got me mega hype. Hopefully they do that. I would love that. Unfortunately, it came from a pretty bad source. I continue to think that James Macweld guy does not actually have sources. So, unfortunately, like, if something comes from James Mack, it's probably not real. Yeah. All right, well, let's call it on that segment. Let's see if we crash the stream here, and there's other things that we got to talk about, so we'll see. Next time we Warhammer, I'm going to convince you to spend an hour of that time convince you to switch to OBS. Hell nah. But they should update this. Actually, they did update it. That's probably what's fucking it up. Probably stupid update. Rivals tonight. I don't know about playing Rivals tonight. Like, maybe I could try. I kind of want to just react to some videos and hang out tonight. I want to just watch some videos, hang out, chill. Yeah. We'll do a member stream tonight at 7:30, yeah. Yeah, maybe we can watch some videos that you guys want to watch and just hang. I played some Rivals last night. Hey, speaking of Rivals, I got a hot take, guys. I got a hot take that I think could save Marvel Rivals. Okay? Now, not a lot of people are liking this tweet. Oh, geez. So I need you guys to go like it because it's a good tweet and it could save the game. This is going to sound crazy, but I think Marvel Rivals should actually give RP to the SVP. That might actually help the rank grind a lot and give you something to play for when your team is cheeks. I'm telling you right now, I think this could save Marvel Rivals. Because I'm sorry, the grind is a miserable experience. It is a miserable experience. The gameplay is great. The kits are great. The maps are great. It's all great. The grind of ranked is a miserable experience. Miserable. So I just can't fuck with Marvel Rivals like that anymore. Like, I'm sorry. I cannot do it. Like, I'm not going to sit there and have hours on end of an unenjoyable experience in a game that otherwise is really fun. RP is ranked points. Yeah. So what this would mean for people that don't totally understand what I'm talking about here is, so the SVP is like the MVP of the losing team. Okay? So, like, you know, you have the MVP and everybody on the winning team gets ranked points. Everybody on the losing team loses ranked points. Now, you can lose less ranked points if you perform well. But what I'm telling you right now is they need to make it so even if you're on the losing team and you're the MVP of the losing team, you should get some RP points. And it doesn't have to be a crazy amount. It should be like 10 or 15 or something, right? But the point is, they need to, because this is the experience that I kept running into in the ranked grind. It's like, oh, we're fucked. Like, literally from like the first couple minutes of a game, you can kind of tell if your team is cheeks, and that just is what it is, and you're just gonna lose, and it becomes a pain. It makes the rest of that game a terrible experience. So I think you need a way to incentivize good gameplay. Like, you need to incentivize the people, like, when you get into a game and your team is totally cheeks, or the other team just has the answer, then you need to have something to fight for. You know what I mean? Otherwise, like, because here's the thing, like, you look at Rivals, if you're into Rivals at all and you watch a lot of the other videos, I'm not saying anything crazy. Basically, every content creator out there is saying that matchmaking is a problem, that ranked is a problem. And it's something to do with whatever algorithm gives you games. It is creating a terrible experience. Okay? And I don't know how they fixed the experience. This is just one thing that I think could actually fix it. So maybe get into the upper ranks so you won't play with people who are cheeks. Yeah, but I'm not, I literally won't do that. So like, I understand what you're saying, and it's memes and it's fine and like whatever. But like the reality is, like, if you're just talking about a base level consumer experience, imagine that's really what you're going to tell somebody. Like dead ass. Like, just think about it. You're going to tell a gamer, oh, just do better so you won't have to deal with that. No. What you're actually telling me is go through hours on end of that absolutely terrible experience to hopefully then get out of the experience. But I'll tell you, I think the upper ranks are the same. From all the people that are high elo that talk about the game, they talk about the same thing. They talk about the same thing. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that would help Rivals a lot, actually. And I honestly, dude, I wish this would make some waves, because I deadass think if the devs just did this, and it's a personal thing, because like it would totally fix the experience for me, because then I could be like, okay, well, I'm at the very least gonna be the best part of my team, so that I'm at least moving a little bit forward. Otherwise, it's like, this is a miserable fucking experience. So I don't know. I mean, I think until they fix that, Rivals, it's not like Rivals is gonna go away. But I don't know that it's gonna thrive until it fixes this exact problem. No. So people say, no, dude, I'm going to try not to get upset about this, but Justin, you are actually pissing me off. Like, I'm going to be dead ass. You're pissing me off with this take, because it's just so, it's a stupid take. Most of the players that play a video game are going to be casual. Marvel Rivals is a casual game. You think it's a competitive game? This shit is not balanced. So don't act like it's get good. Don't act like it's like, oh, bad players. No, you're stupid if you think that's what's going on. You have a tunnel visioned, stupid take. We're talking about the player base. The player base. And if you say like, oh, just go play non-ranked or whatever, even worse. It's an even worse experience. Your team has an even greater chance of being absolute dog shit to the infuriating degree in casual. It's a little bit of both. No, it's not. You're fucking wrong. You're dead ass wrong, motherfucker. And you're going to piss me off. The more this energy comes out from you, you're going to piss me right the fuck off. Yeah. Skill issue. Dude, shut the fuck up. Skill issue. You sound like an Overwatch player, dude. In fact, go to Overwatch. Go to Overwatch. Get the fuck out of this game. Go play Overwatch, bro. Now you really pissed me off. And just get good, bro. The game's not hard, bro. Yeah. All right, anyway, should we move on to some of these other things here, man? Oh my god, there's juicy stuff out there. Oh my god. Turn down the heat, bro. Okay, I will turn down the heat. My apologies, okay? My apologies. You just need to relax your face. Dude, that was one of my favorite ones. You guys say some absolutely ridiculous shit often. That one was one of my favorites, though. You just need to relax your face. Watch Those Wrist Rockets says Warhammer 40k game is legit. Yeah, you talking about Space Marine? Space Marine is legit, man. That's a good one. You just need to relax your face. That one's one of my favorites. Okay. Anyway, can we talk about Doctor Doom in the multiverse, guys? Let's talk about Doctor Doom in the multiverse. So I have this kind of like ongoing theory right now, and I've been speculating about it a good bit here. But essentially, like the theory, it really comes down to like one thing, and that is that there's no way Victor doesn't understand what's going on in the multiverse. And in fact, the only explanation that I can come up with as for why he wasn't involved in the Fantastic Four movie is because of him studying the multiverse, right? Now, we've talked about this. It's a theory. We're speculating. Now, I'll take you through a couple of reasons that I think kind of prove this. But again, we don't know. But to me, right, like, so I always come back to this photo that Pedro Pascal posted. He posted a picture of this book and some verse. And I don't even know what the book was about. I think it was that rocks have a gender. I'm like dead ass. I think it was like rocks have a gender. But anyway, the point is you look past the book and you look into the background. Homie had a different suit on. So the Fantastic Four outfit for the Fantastic Four movie is like 60s inspired. It almost looks like it's a sweater and the material is like weird, right? The MCU has a very specific thing. Like we always used to joke, all the villains and the heroes go to the same tailor in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because they all have like the seams and the lines and the fucking texture, right? So anyway, in that photo with the book about rocks having a gender, you can look at Pedro's leg and see, oh shit, that is a modern version of the Reed Richards costume. It's threaded. It has the seam. Like it dead ass looks like it come from 616. Okay. So I was always like, dude, there's a time jump. There's clearly a time jump. There's another reason we think there's a time jump, and that has to do with Franklin Richards. The character of Franklin Richards is 4 years old at the end of the Fantastic Four movie. But according to the casting documents, they cast a kid that's 10 to 14 to play Franklin Richards in Avengers Doomsday. That implies a time jump. Another reason we think there's a time jump is the Fantastic Four vehicle in the Thunderbolts post-credit scene. It looks like the Fantastic Four ship, but it looks more advanced. And it's interdimensional. And the version we see in the Fantastic Four movie is not an interdimensional ship. Okay, so that all takes us to a place where I think it's pretty fucking obvious that Doctor Doom's going to show up. He does not take Franklin Richards in that post-credit scene. And he's going to work with Reed. And that's why the Russo brothers teased the fucking chalkboard that Reed Richards had recently. Because Reed and Doom are clearly going to be studying the multiverse after the Fantastic Four movie. And we just got another confirmation from Alex Perez yesterday. This was just a little thing he said. He's asked about, let me see if I can actually pull this up so I will read it verbatim for you. He is asked about the power set for Doctor Doom. He says, what is Doom's power set in Doomsday and Secret Wars? And he says, his genius intellect that he's gathered from studying the multiverse and his master manipulation skills, that's how he's going to get Wanda, and magic. Genius intellect that he's gathered from studying the multiverse? Now, whoa, hold on, wait a minute. This is for the first time an actual insider confirming that Victor has been studying the multiverse. Now, again, that seems trivial because most of us thought that's what was going on, but we didn't have anybody confirming it. There were people out there, and I think there are probably still people out there that think Victor Von Doom shows up in that post-credit scene, takes Franklin, and then disappears. And then all of Doomsday is them just trying to find Victor Von Doom, and that's just not what it is. Like, we have a lot of evidence to the counter to that he's going to be with them, that he's working with the Fantastic Four, manipulating everybody. He's going to manipulate the 616 Avengers to fight against the X-Men, et cetera, right? So I think this is actually huge. I think just like Loki, right? Because there's something we forget about Loki, especially when it comes to season 2. Loki spent, 1,000 years learning physics? Like, I got to go back and rewatch Loki season 2, to be honest with you, because I don't even remember exactly what he says, but I think it was 1,000 years of learning physics and learning everything that OB learned, right? So, like, Loki knows a lot about physics, reality, the universe, time, etc. And that's Loki. That's Loki. Oh, he spent eons learning about it? That's crazy. Okay, so anyway, that's just Loki. Loki is not considered a genius, guys. Like in Marvel Comics, Loki is not considered a genius. In Agents of Asgard and God of Stories, Loki, of course, he gains an incredible amount of information and knowledge. But, you know, you think of Marvel geniuses. You think of Reed, you think of Doom, Peter Parker, Bruce Banner, Tony Stark, Hank Pym. Like, those are the geniuses. Amadeus Cho. Those are the geniuses. Loki's not a genius. But what makes Victor Von Doom so dangerous is that he is that guy. And the whole point of the Hickman Secret Wars, the whole point of that lead up, is that just because of his knowledge, he's able to manipulate, understand, create plans, contingencies, create a whole religion, go back in time, change things that need changed. Like, dude, he's that fucking guy. But it's his knowledge of the multiverse that makes him able to do all of that. So just this little thing that Alex says about he says his genius intellect that he's gathered from studying the multiverse and his master manipulation skills and magic. To me, this perfectly explains everything that's going to happen from that post-credit scene in the Fantastic Four to the moment that we get into Doomsday. And I think it will also potentially explain this secret movie. You know, we just talked about a ton of different theories and crazy things. It's like evil X-Men thing. Maybe we're getting a little bit of that energy from the Hickman Time Runs Out in Doomsday. But there's this big rumor that we might get a Doctor Strange movie in 2027. So next year, it's going to be Spider-Man Brand New Day in the summer. Then you've got Doomsday in Christmas time. The following year, you just have Secret Wars in Christmas time. But a lot of people are suggesting that there'll be a secret third part to this story, which will be Doctor Doom Illuminati or Doctor Doom Time Runs Out. If that is real, I would expect this studying of the multiverse, this Rabum stuff, that's where all that shit comes from. So it's just a small thing, but to me, it's a huge thing. Genius intellect he's gathered from studying the multiverse and his master manipulation skills. Those two things actually go together because when you understand a universe, you're better able to manipulate it. And this is, you know, what's really cool about this is shit we were talking about like in July after this was announced. I remember being like, guys, dude, Victor's going to know everything. And when the Evil Avengers thing popped off, because that was a big rumor out there, the Evil Avengers, I said to myself, oh, dude, this is so Doom. Because Doom would know that if I introduce evil versions of the Avengers, these characters are going to put their guards down. These characters, like Yelena, like Bruce Banner, if they see Natasha, they're going to be affected. Clint Barton would be affected. All of these things. We've ran through all this before, and I said to you guys then, dude, this is perfect Doctor Doom manipulation, because if he understands it, at the end of the day, in the same way that He Who Remains knew everything about all of these different characters, he knew everything there was to know about Loki, he knew everything there was to know about Sylvie, and he probably knew everything there was to know about almost any character in the Sacred Timeline. I think Victor will form that same knowledge base. I think he will be just as knowledgeable as He Who Remains was about all of these different characters and timelines and their stories. And that's an important factor here because we have God of Stories Loki. Everybody is essentially a story. The multiverse itself is probably a collection of stories. What He Who Remains did was change the story, pull out elements that were supposed to be in the story and isolate them to their own timelines. And that's going to end up being a big deal. So, chat. Doctor Doom, Victor Von Doom, studying the multiverse. What do you think of this? Do you agree that it's a big deal? Did you think it was confirmed before this? Like, what are your thoughts on that? And then, like, what does this mean for this version of Doctor Doom? Because here's the other side of this. How many other characters in Marvel, in the MCU, but really you think it's the MCM, it's the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse, how many other characters in general even know about the multiverse? So it's Doctor Doom, Doctor Strange, Wong to a degree. Who else? Loki, TVA characters, He Who Remains, Kangs. Maybe this X-Men universe. America Chavez, Peter Parker. Reed Richards from 838. Reed Richards from 828 if he has that conversation with Doom. But those are the people that know about it. Remember, Stephen Strange himself says we know frighteningly little about the multiverse. So even he doesn't really understand it. If we were to make a list, a tier list maybe, of the characters that understand the multiverse the best, I would argue Loki's at the top, Kang's at the top. And then I guess what I'm kind of trying to get at is I would put Victor at the top. Just based off of what do we know about the character from comics, what we know is being set up for him. Ancient One is probably up there. Wanda's maybe up there. Yeah, but Shang-Chi doesn't know shit about it. Like, he doesn't. Like, he might... Like, I don't think Shang-Chi knows anything about it. Thanos? Yeah, Thanos probably knows. But it's who would know the most, right? Now, here's the thing that's wild about that. And you go back to Multiverse of Madness. Wanda was out there studying the multiverse, right? She was looking for her children. But... because she was doing that, she begins to realize what the multiverse is, right? She begins to realize what the prophecy is, how powerful she is, what reality is, what the dreams are. Wanda was out there learning a lot about the multiverse, actually. Would not Victor be doing the same thing? You know, I mean, I'm going to put him up there, man. I'm going to put him up there. And I think this is just another feather in the cap for that character, dude. Yeah, John Krasinski's Reed is absolutely studying the multiverse. They know what incursions are. His Strange caused an incursion. They wiped their Strange out. He's got the Baxter Foundation. They're cataloging the multiverse, studying variants. Like, hell yeah, they're definitely on it. Now, he died. He could be brought back to life, though. There's multiple ways he could be brought back to life. The Time Stone, right? We don't see how Mordo resolved. I mean, Mordo's still around. And Mordo has the Time Stone. So Mordo could use the Time Stone. He could go in there and literally save Reed. He could actually save all of them with the Time Stone. Yeah. Too bad he's spaghetti, but you can use the Time Stone, man. It's like how they take the apple from when it was bitten to when it was whole. Just do that with him. I mean, literally, Wanda already did this. She brings Vision back to life. Or I guess they bring him back to life with the Time Stone, don't they? Oh, no. She kills him and Thanos brings him back to life. That's what it was. She's forced to kill her lover, and then it just gets undone by Thanos. Yeah. So she's familiar with how that could work. Yeah, pretty interesting. Council of Joshes? Hell yeah, I want the Council of Joshes. Let's go. Doom has a vendetta because in 616 he was turned into a Gaia variant by Kang. No one deserves that fate. There is no bigger insult, 100%. I mean, yeah, that would be pretty crazy. That would be pretty wild. That would be a tough one for sure. Galactus probably has a good bit of multiversal knowledge as well, yeah. He didn't really impart too much of it in that Fantastic Four movie, though, huh? Yeah. What the hell? Are we still live? What just happened? What the hell? I actually think that one might be on me. I think it was good, and then I literally hit end the stream. That one might be human error. That one might have been me literally just hitting end stream on accident. Yeah. Here's what I'll say. You guys were asking about the Joshes, the Council of Joshes. So this is totally random. But I had this crazy thought, okay? So I think it would be interesting if you had a fight card, right? Maybe UFC, kickboxing, or boxing, okay? And it's 5 fighters versus 5 fighters. And all of these 5 fighters have the same name. They have the same name. And all the fighters on the other side, they have the same name. And it's literally fighting for your namesake. Okay? So you have like 5 Johns and 5 Dakotas. and whoever side wins, they get to keep their name. The side that loses, they all have to change their name legally. Dude, put some respect on their names, literally. Yeah, isn't that cool? Dana White, you should try it. I mean, it is not stupider than Power Slap. Say what you will about that idea, but it is not more stupid than Power Slap. You missed my super chat? Okay, I'll look at it right now, brother. Just so you know, though, and I know this might seem crazy, but I don't usually go back to read people's super chats. You know what I mean? Oh my God, that's a really expensive one, though. Thank you, man. It says, I still think Doom had something to do with the multiversal war, and he was banished, erased memory, replaced on a timeline, and now he comes back. Yeah, well, for sure. I mean, so my version of that, right? My explanation of that is that that is Doom from the main universe, from the Prime universe. And look, I'm going to get into that in a second because I've got some crazy thoughts about this. In fact, let's just do it. Let's just get into this. You just got me interested to talk about this, okay? So this one's really cool, man. It has to do with Steve Rogers. It has to do with the Incursions. So, Alex Perez does this big Q&A, and he's asked about the thing with Steve Rogers, okay? And I'm just going to read this to you so you can kind of get a sense of what he said here. The question was, did Steve Rogers really cause the incursions? Alex says, multiple people have caused incursion. Steve just happens to be one of them. Then he's asked, is Chris Evans' last time as Steve Rogers? He says, don't count Cap out just yet. Now, the reason I think that's interesting... am I getting choppy now? Am I choppy? Did I get choppy? The reason I think that's interesting is because, again, My Time to Shine was trying to get people to think that Steve Rogers caused all the incursions. That's the main problem, and Doom is just going to get him and kill him to stop all the incursions. Okay? And what Alex is suggesting with his comments is Steve is just one of many people that caused incursions. Okay. Now, one reason I think this is interesting is because Daniel RPK kind of talked about this as well. This was last week, maybe the week before. It was in the wake of Shine saying all that crazy shit. And Daniel said, Doom is trying to get every person that caused an incursion. Do you guys remember this? Do you remember when Daniel said this? Doom wants to get every person that caused an incursion, not just Steve Rogers. Okay? And so when Daniel said that, it felt a little to me like he was trying to clarify what Shine was saying. And with Alex now saying this as well, it feels like he is trying to clarify what Shine is saying. And what Alex is implying here is Steve is just one of many people that caused incursions. Now, I want to take this to a really interesting place. Okay. I want to take this to an interesting place. If a person causes an incursion, what does that mean? It means that they are in a time or a place that they are not supposed to be, right? This is the way that it's explained to Doctor Strange. It erodes the stability of space-time, and it could cause an incursion. So if you are in a universe and you're not supposed to be there, you're weakening the boundaries of space-time, you're causing an incursion, right? That's an issue. But isn't it also the case that if you do something you're not supposed to do, you cause a branch timeline? And could then that not then cause an incursion itself? For an incursion to happen, there has to be two universes that are colliding. That's what it is. And that can happen by a regularly occurring universe having something that's not supposed to be there and eroding space-time, right? But think about it like this. The whole reason that the TVA is pruning timelines is to prevent incursions. Don't you realize that? That's the whole idea. So like it's explained that the red line causes it so they can no longer be pruned. Well, what does it mean that a universe can no longer be pruned? I would argue that means it now has an anchor being. Okay? So I've been thinking about this a lot, right? Because you have this concept of the anchor beings, which is kind of introduced for Deadpool and Wolverine. There was some talk that would have to do with Doomsday. There's some talk that maybe Doom himself was seeking all of these anchor beings. Now it seems like Doom is seeking all of the beings that caused incursions. Okay, now this next part is crazy speculation. This is definitely speculation, but just walk with me on this. I was thinking back to some stuff that Alex said about how the X-Men in 616 might exist, but they just never got their X gene. So like the way He Who Remains did it was he was like, okay, this is the timeline. Here's all the shit that happens in the timeline. I'm going to take the X-Men stuff, meaning these people and them getting the X gene to become the mutants, and I'm going to take that out of the main timeline and I'm going to put it in this side timeline over here, okay? Now, that means in this timeline over here, everything that's supposed to happen happens. That's important because of eternity, right? But more importantly, this stuff doesn't happen in the main timeline. And so therefore, the X-Men characters like Charles Xavier might just be a regular ass college professor. Eric Lynchard just becomes some dude, Holocaust survivor guy, right? Okay. So what is the difference then between the Charles Xavier in 616 and the Charles Xavier in the timeline that was separated out where he has his mutant gene? What I would argue to you is in the main prime timeline, the aura or the soul, the temporal aura or the temporal presence, his signature, that guy is Doom. And I would argue that when He Who Remains pulls Victor Von Doom out of the main timeline and puts him into the separate universe, that what he is doing is taking the temporal aura, the actual Doctor Doom, separating him from that timeline and sticking him in a different timeline. What that would mean is that although the character on a different timeline is still technically that character, that the essence or the soul of the original is in that body. Are you following me still? Is this too crazy and esoteric? Do you understand where I'm going with this? Because these are concepts that are actually addressed in Loki. If you remember, one of the first things they ask Loki when he comes to the TVA is, are you a robot or do you have a soul? Do you remember that? They say, can you guarantee that you have, in effect, a essence, a being, or what multiple cultures would refer to as a soul? And then in Loki season 2, Loki is time slipping because his soul or his temporal aura is out of whack. It needs to be disconnected from time and plugged back in. So there's something to, Kang was obviously aware of what this idea was, and that your soul and that your temporal aura exists, and you only have one. Okay, now, if you thought that was crazy, this is where it gets even more crazy, okay? I think it's possible that all of the characters that are able to cause incursions and all the characters that are able to cause branch timelines are actually the essential or prime version of the character. So in Marvel Comics, there is a concept known as Prime Kang. Okay? And Prime just means like the main one, right? So if Steve Rogers, because here's where part of this comes from. If Doctor Doom, or rather, if Stephen Strange has a vague memory of the actual original Fantastic Four, because that's something Alex implied. He implied that the reason Stephen remembers the Fantastic Four as a band from the 60s is because he has some echo of the actual memory from the Prime Universe. I would argue that means that version of Stephen is Prime Stephen. That's Prime Stephen. And I think Steve Rogers, our Steve, that's Prime Steve Rogers. Okay? Now, here's where shit gets weird. Our Tony Stark is not Prime Tony. But our Victor Von Doom is Prime Doom. This concept is actually how the Russos and all these other people are able to say this is definitive Doctor Doom. This is why there's rumors out there that RDJ will continue to play Doctor Doom after Secret Wars. Do you know why? Because he is Prime Doom. Wouldn't it be really interesting if all of these characters that are causing incursions are not causing incursions because they are jumping through different universes, but they are causing incursions because they have the resonance, the soul, the oral picture of the very first universe. So therefore, as they operate throughout space-time, they are more violent to the erosion of space-time. So they are more of a threat to the balance. Because something about having the resonance from the prime version of the universe is potentially what makes them able to create branch timelines. I don't know. It's pretty crazy. It's a pretty crazy idea, man. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty wild. Either way you slice it, though, I think it's good that it's not just Steve Rogers caused the incursions and Doom needs to take them out. Something more to it than that. And in fact, I'll tell you what I think it is. I think it's going to be that Prime Doom will confront Prime Steve Rogers, and he will say something like this. You realized the truth. You figured out the truth. And you chose to preserve this lie. You chose to have a false version of me grow up and live as Tony Stark because he was your friend. You're an asshole, Steve Rogers. And you're selfish. And now I will kill you. You know? Something like that. Something like that would be really cool, really fun. I think that would be a great way to set it up. And either way, I think it's just interesting that Alex is talking about this Steve Rogers thing. And when you couple it with what Daniel said, it really does seem like other scoopers out there are trying to throw cold water on what Shine was saying. Look, maybe Shine was right. Like maybe there's something to what she's saying as well. But I would just argue I think there's something more to it. So what do you guys think of that, man? Prime variants. You think it could be a thing? You think it could be a thing? Hydra Captain would be low-key fire. It would be. I don't expect it in Doomsday, though. I love that theory. I think that something like this could be what it is. And maybe that's all the anchor beings are. Like, maybe the anchor beings are prime universe variants that are spread throughout the multiverse to give stability to these new timelines. Yeah, exactly, Steve. Yeah, the prime and the anchors could be the exact same thing. But you would think there would be more universes than there would be Prime characters, right? So it can't exactly be that, but there could be something there, yeah. I wonder if Thor will have any more visions like in Age of Ultron. That would be sick, dude. I hope so. I hope so. Thor is so underutilized, I feel. Yeah. Yeah. What if the Incursions are the Prime universe trying to fix itself? Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, because Sylvie says the multiverse wants to break free. That's why it manifests chaos. Absolutely. I think that's a part of it. It wants to break this and retain what it was. Yeah. What role does Madison play in all of this? Oh, God, I don't know. I mean, she could be front and center, man, you know? Maybe she's the real Iron Man. Maybe we're going to find out that Tony Stark, our Tony, was actually a Victor Von Doom variant, but the real Iron Man was Madison. And then that'd be a real awkward moment between Wong and Tony. Yeah. All right, let's see if we crash the stream again. I should have tricked you guys into thinking it was frozen. Like, I should have just been like... You ain't no doctor. Hell no, I have way too much caffeine for that. You know it. It's Scott Lang's spine. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah, I know. I'm not a good actor. Need Luis to come in and explain the multiverse? That would be great. That would be fantastic. The F4 from 828 are Prime and Doom Prime in 828. Their universe is the cell Doom was banished to. It makes sense. Problem is, Doom would to off himself too if he is an anchor. Yeah, there could be something to that. I kind of like that. Adding a complication to it would be cool. Do you think there's a good chance the X-Men universe is destroying the universe? It's time to play the game. I think so, baby. I think so, and I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited. So another with let me see if I can find the exact thing that he said here, but he was talking about Toby, dude. And also, too, what is the deal with Alex saying in an unofficial capacity? Brother, that's your new trick? That's the new trick? So that you can say a bunch of shit and not have to be held accountable for it? All right. All right, let me see if I can find this here. He does talk about other actors, which is kind of cool. Where's the Toby thing? Oh, here we go. He says, do you know anything about Toby Maguire's role in Doomsday? He says, I have no comment on this officially. What the fuck does that mean? Unofficially and speculatively, provide some insight from his world, as his universe is one of the main worlds involved in the final incursions due to Doctor Strange's spell. I really don't understand how you're going to say, I have nothing to say officially about this, but unofficially, let me give you some, like, really detailed, specific things that I think it'll do. Like, that's crazy to me. Anyway, what does it mean, though? He's speculating that Toby's universe could be one of the final ones due to Doctor Strange's spell. Wow. Wow. That's kind of interesting. Now, we already talked about this earlier. It could be kind of cool if Toby shows up, or if the X-Men universe like goes into Toby's universe and then they like destroy the whole universe or something. Like, that would be absolutely wild. And maybe there's an explanation for it via the Doctor Strange spell. Now, this is another thing that Alex has been talking about for some time. There's like 2 or 3 big threads that Alex has been talking about for a while. One has to do with like Wanda, Magneto, their family and that whole dynamic relationship. And there's evidence to suggest that Marvel has been thinking about that for a while. And then the other thing is this idea of Doctor Strange's spell and it having something to do with the multiverse. Now, one of the things that I keep thinking about is these variants, these prime universe variants, and the idea of the entire multiverse forgetting who Peter Parker is, right? Why would that be such an issue? Oh, by the way, chat, let me randomly tell you this, okay? Let me randomly tell you this. Are you guys curious who Sadie Sink is playing? Like, is anybody here a little curious about who Sadie Sink is going to play in Spider-Man Brand New Day? Well, I'm going to drop a video today that explains it, and you're not going to like it, but maybe you'll love it. I'm going to spoil it. I thought about it. I was like, should I spoil it? Should I not spoil it? I'm going to spoil it. You'll see. You'll see. Just watch the video. We're going to drop it later today. It's pretty wild. Anyway, point is this. If the multiverse has forgotten who Peter Parker is that similar to all these other characters, maybe even the prime versions of these characters, forgetting the original version of the multiverse? Is it similar to Stephen Strange no longer remembering the Fantastic Four? Quite interesting, right? So I'm kind of fascinated by the fact that Alex has been talking about this for so long, because there does seem to be something with Stephen Strange. And I do think that maybe the memory thing and adjusting people's memories will come into play. Now, if Peter Parker is a prime version of Spider-Man, if he's the prime variant from the very first universe, and he has that essence, right? Is it possible that when the multiverse forgets who he is, it completely destabilizes it because it's now forgetting something that it has to remember because of like eternity or something like that? Like, I don't know. This is a very fascinating concept here. And I think the Spider-Man movie, look, a lot of people are excited about the Spider-Man movie because Hulk, Punisher, and all the crazy action, and it feels like it's going to be a little bit more grounded. But I'm going to tell you this right now. This movie is so far from grounded, you won't even believe. And I think, obviously, the spell has something to do with this story. But I think the spell also has something to do with the wider story of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in general. And I think it'll probably be connected to the Prime Universe, He Who Remains, all of that, man. So, yeah, pretty wild. But I think, dude, just going back to the Toby thing, right? And again, like, I seriously do not know what Alex is trying to say there. It almost seems like he's trying to say, don't hold me accountable for this if I'm wrong, but I've heard some things and I'm speculating based off of what I've heard that this is what it is. Well, brother, just say that. Just say that. You don't need a thesaurus. We don't need to hear you talk about fucking unofficial this, official that. No, just be like, yo, I heard some things. This is speculation. Don't be mad if it's not true, but this is what I think it is. And what he's saying is that Toby's universe could be involved as it's one of the last universes remaining because of the spell? Oh, man, that's crazy. That implies you know a whole bunch of other shit. Right? So, all I'll say is this, man. Doomsday already seems insane. But if part of Doomsday is watching Toby Maguire's universe be destroyed, fuck yeah. The stakes are high. That is exciting. Dude, I'm into it. I'm into it. So I wonder, what do you guys think of this? What do you think of the spell? What do you think of Toby? What do you think of Toby being in Doomsday? Just in general, do you think that's a good move? Do you think it would be effective to use him as like, oh shit, Toby's universe is dead? Because here's the other side, man. As Marvel fans, right? We're getting ready for Secret Wars, and we're big Marvel fans. Have you guys ever watched a Marvel movie? Yes, you have. What are some of our favorite Marvel movies? The Toby movies. Man, if you're trying to get a whole bunch of old Marvel fans to really get butthurt and to get involved, one of the greatest trilogies of all time, the Toby trilogy, and one of our favorite characters, you destroy his universe. We watch fucking what if we watch his family die? You know what I mean? Like, what if his kids are there and we watch them die? What if we see MJ go? I mean, dude, I'm starting to feel the emotions already. This is crazy. So I think that's a pretty good. I think that's a pretty good way to do it. What do you guys think? You'll get your rent when you fix this damn universe. Yes, that is good. Good memeage. Good memeage. Loki is coming to Doomsday. Yeah, I agree. Would it be the first time? I don't know what that means. What do you mean? Can Spidey be an anchor being while he's still alive physically? The spell making him non-existent is a no-no, thus causing the incursion. Something like that. Yeah. Something like that could be cool. Can the other Peters might be forgotten? Yes, it's possible the other Peters are forgotten, and that's causing an issue there. Yeah. We see his family die all the time. What? Spider-Man's family? No, he's not Batman. He's not Batman. Can you imagine what happens once the multiverse is gone? There will be no variance and resurrection forever. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. And maybe who's ever left after Doomsday, maybe it'll at least feel like if they die, they're gone forever. I don't think that's really what it's going to be because they're going to reset or whatever, but yeah. If Marvel soft reboots, they should do an original stuff for now on and make T'Challa's son the Black Panther of the new universe and a member of the new X-Men. I mean, look, I like where your head's at. I think some new cool ideas would be great. So does Andrew's universe not cause an incursion? Maybe Andrew dies as well. Okay, how about this? This would be a fucking crazy cold open. What if the movie opens with Andrew's universe being destroyed? We see him get killed by some X-Men. And then Toby wakes up out of bed. And Toby's having the dreams just like Doctor Strange did. And he just saw Andrew die. And MJ's downstairs with the kids making breakfast. Toby comes down and he's just bothered by this dream. And she's like, what's wrong? Like, what's going on? And he's like, I just had this dream. It was with this guy I knew, and he died, and then boom, the fucking wall explodes, and the X-Men are now there, and they're taking out his universe, and not just Toby, but we got both the other Spider Bros, Peter 2 and Peter 3. They're fucking dead. We're literally a minute into Doomsday, and we just lost the Spider Boys. Bro. Come on, man. Not gonna lie, if that happens, I'm walking out. How many people do you think would walk out? There'd be some people pretty fucking upset. I mean, it would be wild. It would be crazy, dude. It would be crazy. But then we see those X-Men again, and we're like, kill those motherfuckers. Like, oh, dude, that. And I think, look, I'm in danger. I'll be completely honest with you guys. I am in danger of doing that thing again where the fanboy dreaming comes over. But the reason the fanboy dreaming takes over is because this fucking Secret Wars run, this Hickman run, was the best shit I've ever read. It is the best comic book story ever, and I can't help but think that some of the shit that made it so good, which was the stakes and the crazy drama and worlds being destroyed, watching your favorite heroes have to grapple with morality that they can't even understand, watching these people change or remain the same and be destroyed. It was fascinating. That's where all the drama is. That's where the juice is. So I can't help it, man. I see these things. I hear these things. That's where my mind goes. My mind goes to the place of, how can we get the most fucking flavor out of this? Because I want to feel like I felt reading those Hickman books. I want to be shaken. I want this to be epic. So that's what I'm thinking. I mean, something has to be avenged, so I'm sure a lot of people will die or be captured. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Comic reading stream tonight? Not tonight. I don't feel like reading tonight. You know? I think what we should do tonight is we should spectate Justin playing Marvel Rivals. Okay? Justin, you play Marvel Rivals tonight. I'll spectate you and talk shit relentlessly the entire time. Oh, skill issue. Oh, skill issue, Justin. Oh, you having a good time on? You having a good time in the matchmaking, Justin? Oh, here we go, Justin. Oh, it's just a skill issue. That's what we're gonna do tonight. Hell yeah. Why are you bringing up my name? You know damn well why. LOL, don't tease us with a good time. It actually would be kind of fun. It would be kind of fun. I mean, if I could figure out how to get this PC to handle me streaming video games again, I would definitely play some video games with you guys. Like I said, I was playing Rivals last night, and I had a good time. It's just like, dude, the grind is terrible. I don't know what to say. The grind is fucking terrible. And it irritates me when people like Justin, you know, no offense, but when people like Justin can't acknowledge that the game has a problem. The game has a problem. And even if you think, oh, it's just a bunch of unskilled players, that's the majority of all player bases of all video games, motherfucker. Come on. Look, James Macwood has another crazy rumor. Yeah, I don't know about that, James. I think James Macwood's full of shit. I think James Macwood's full of shit. Hey, don't worry. Hey, don't worry, baby. Don't you worry about it. We're back. Okay? Don't you worry about it. We're back. You know? And don't worry too. I'll look into the issue this weekend. It's probably a setting thing or something I got to change. I'll figure it out. Everybody just relax. Okay, we have only one more clip to get, and it's Star Wars. Hey, are you guys excited? You guys excited to talk some Star Wars? Actually, how long have we been streaming for? Maybe we just call it here. Oh, almost 3 hours? All right, we'll talk Star Wars, then we'll get out of here, okay? Y'all know about Star Wars? Everybody excited about Star Wars? Okay, let's talk about Star Wars, man. This is actually really cool. I don't know how exciting this will be for other people, but for me, this is pretty damn cool. Okay, and this has to do with Ahsoka season 2. So this dude, Charlotte Copley, the guy from District 9 and Maleficent, this dude is awesome. He has a very unique voice. Love this dude's voice. He has been cast to be the father. He's been cast to be the father in Ahsoka season 2. So if you doubted that they were going to do the Mortis gods, you're crazy. I mean, I told you guys months and months ago, they're going to do a flashback on Mortis, likely with Kenobi, young Ahsoka, with Anakin. They cast the sister. They cast the brother. It's Sam Witwer, which is fucking crazy, but Sam Witwer is actually going to play the brother. And then they have this guy, Copley, as the father. On top of that, they did cast Abeloth as well. They did cast Abeloth. So, bro, they're fucking going for it. And you know, I had those scoops. God, it must have been 6 months ago now. About Ahsoka season 2. I had a source reach out and tell me just all this crazy stuff. Most of it has been corroborated by now. Like literally, most of it has been corroborated. And the main point, though, the main thing that everybody needs to realize is Ahsoka season 2 is going for it with Abeloth, with Anakin having a major role, and I think they're setting something up for a potential Anakin return to the setting, which sounds wild, but like I'm actually not joking. There was a Luke Skywalker book where Anakin was able to cut down these like ghost Sith beings and actually help Luke out. And there's an argument to be made that whatever's going on in Peridia, Anakin is involved in a way that you would not have thought possible before that show. And I think they want more Anakin. More. Okay? They're dealing with the mother, Abeloth, this crazy recontextualization of the Force itself, of the dark side, right? And this goes into the very, very old stuff. Now, one of the reasons this is so cool, and, you know, some of you guys already know this, but maybe some of you don't remember, so I'll tell you this story again. One of the things that's fascinating about Filoni and the character of Abeloth is that they were both created simultaneously by different people. So there's this really cool interview that you can find where the writers of the Legacy of the Force books did an interview where they discussed meeting with Dave Filoni and collaborating about Mortis, collaborating about the Ones, and collaborating about Abeloth. Dave was already cooking up the backstory for the Ones and the Celestials. This was something that was being explored a little bit in those novels as well. And this is like the Legacy of the Force, Legends of the Force, out of... this is actually after the Yuuzhan Vong War. This is after their time on the way station. And this is the beginning of Luke's exile. So Luke gets exiled from the Jedi Order. He and his son go around the galaxy to learn about stuff. They're retracing the steps of Jason Solo, trying to learn about that. That's why Luke gets exiled, by the way, is Jason, because his greatest student turned to the dark side and almost destroyed the entire fucking empire, right? So anyway, point is, as they're developing these stories and they're building up this character, they had this idea for a human being that was once a steward of the Celestials or of the Ones, and then she drinks this forbidden fountain, and she attains this forbidden knowledge from a mirror, and essentially becomes this horrifically corrupted, dark, like goddess, evil goddess of the Force. And what's interesting about this character is these characters were building up Abeloth, these writers, and Filoni was building up Abeloth as well. So sometimes it's like great minds think alike. They're both creating this character at the time, and this was before Disney. This was before Disney. Dave decided to collaborate with the writers of these books to have the story of Abeloth in those books match up with what he was eventually going to do with that same character in the Clone Wars animation. Now, we know that when Disney comes in and buys it, they end Clone Wars rather abruptly. And Dave had a lot of stuff he wanted to do that he doesn't get to do. He gets to do a little bit of it when he comes back to finish it in that season 7 when it's reborn. But that last season of Clone Wars was like a really short season. He throws in a bunch of weird stuff with Yoda, weird stuff with the prophecy, Order 66, blah, blah, blah. And then they're out. But I believe Dave was always going to eventually get to Abeloth. Okay. So this whole idea of the Ones, this whole idea of Anakin, the whole idea of Abeloth, right? It was something that I called pretty early on. When Ahsoka Season 1 was coming out, a lot of people thought I was crazy, but there were reasons why I thought we were headed towards Abeloth, right? And we're so clearly headed towards Abeloth. This is a natural extension of a story Dave was thinking about years ago when he was first building the Mortis gods into the Clone Wars stuff. And it's such a Filoni thing because it's so weird, it's so out there, it's so like trippy and, you know, mystical, and it's like an expansion of all the George Lucas stuff, right? It's really, really weird. Well, that's clearly what he was building then, and I would argue that is what he is building now. And I would argue that Ahsoka Season 2 is going to be this incredible thing where he puts on in full display what his vision for the backstory of this mythos and these different beings and even Anakin himself all is. So, dude, oh my God. Look, I know Star Wars is in a really weird spot, and it's hard to imagine Star Wars getting back to where it was. It's hard to imagine that the movies will pop off. It's hard to imagine we'll ever get back to a place where the whole fan base is really excited about what comes next. But Ahsoka Season 2 has a chance, in my opinion, to sort of re-solidify the value of Filoni Star Wars, of mythic Star Wars, right? And I'm not necessarily trying to make it about Andor versus Ahsoka, but that was a big argument that a lot of Andor fans wanted to make it into. And that's a thing that a lot of people on the internet want to make it into. And that's fine. If y'all want to play that game, I'm going with Filoni. And I am not only hopeful, but I'm actually expecting Ahsoka Season 2 to completely eclipse Andor. Hopefully completely eclipse its own first season. but to be so good, so ambitious as to remind people what mystical hero's journey, mythic Star Wars really is, and it is weird, and it is out there, and it is not about motherfuckers eating cereal and stalking an Imperial officer for 2 seasons. That's not what it is. So at the end of the day, for me, I continue to expect that Ahsoka Season 2 is going to be a massive deal. I think it'll chart on Nielsen. I think we will see undeniable success. I think its numbers will be better than Andor, and I think it is maybe the last chance that this brand has to show the fan base and to show the people that are in charge that this is really what Star Wars is. This is what is going to activate the most of the fan base. This is what's going to get people popping on social media. This is what's going to get you all of the acclaim and get the big viewership numbers and the imprint and all of it. I am so hopeful that that's what it is, because the other side of it is this shit's just going to be hella weird. There'll be like a dozen of us that appreciate it, and they'll want Tony Gilroy to do the next thing. And if that happens, we are fucked. So, the father cast for Ahsoka Season 2. I think this just confirms a lot of the shit I've been telling y'all about. And I guess my question to you now is, do you think this show has the chance, the potential to pop off? Is this thing going to right the ship? Or is the Star Wars fan base too divided? Are there too many Andor fans? Are people going to think this is too weird? You tell me, chat. What do you think? What do you think? Fandom is too divided. Maybe. Yeah, too divided. Yeah, it could be. And at the end of the day, whose fault is that? It's not the fans' fault. That's Kathy's fault. You know what I mean? Ahsoka is the only thing they have, and then they're going back to trash content. I mean, we'll see. The Sean Levy thing seems cool. The Maul show seems cool. I think Dave's movie could be cool. James Mangold's movie seems cool. But yeah, I mean, like the Rey stuff, the Kinberg stuff seems terrible. There's a lot of stuff that I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? But if they do it right, they need to have these episodes an hour long. Yeah, it needs to be long. Yeah, it needs to be long. Yeah, I mean, it would be taking Star Wars in a really hardcore, like fantasy direction. But I would argue if you look at season 1 of Ahsoka, that was obviously the direction it was going in. He's taking it back to the mystical place. And I mean, Peridia itself is like something out of Berserk, dude. It's like this catacomb castle thing. There's witches. There's all these warriors. They're riding on dire wolves. They're out in the Badlands where bandits are at. Like, dude, it's high fantasy all the way. It's high fantasy. And I loved it. Like, I loved that shit. So, can they extend that motif into season 2, and can they not lose people? Can they not lose people? Because it is weird, for sure. Isn't there a rumor there will be multiple planets in the Peridia area? If there is a rumor, I had not heard that. I have not heard that rumor. Could be, though. Hot take, Josh. Marvel should do a trilogy post-Secret Wars with 3 Peters. Oh, yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, that'd be fun. They're using Anakin to make come to watch it, bruh. Yeah, I mean, I think I understand what you're saying there. Brother, you're terrible with the typos, to be honest with you. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. And I think that's something you have to overcome. It's the same thing with the RDJ thing. If it feels gimmicky to people, they're going to question whether or not there's an authentic reason for it to be there. And that's completely appropriate. Totally fine. I would tell you there's absolutely a reason for Anakin to be there. And if you understand what the father is, what the ones are, what Mortis was, this all makes sense. But it's on them to make other people feel that way. If the majority of the film, or if the majority of the fan base says this was gimmicky and it lacks purpose, then that's what it is, right? The market gets to decide. But they do have to present it in such a way that it's received by the majority of the audience. And the thing with Star Wars is, how bad did they fuck this up? How bad did they divide the fan base? How many stupid internet-brained Andor fans and fangirls are just going to extend that stupid petty fight between Ahsoka and Andor into Ahsoka season 2? You know what I mean? Like, that's the question. How much, because Lucasfilm created that. You know what I mean? Like, they created that divide. How prevalent is that divide still to this day? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I would argue watching Star Wars and wondering how well it will actually go has become as interesting as the Star Wars content itself. Like, I think it's gotten to a very crazy, very tough placement. It is tough to, like, it's tough, man. Can you list your top 3 Star Wars series to watch? Maybe Mando, Ahsoka, Rebels? Mando, Ahsoka, Rebels, probably. It's also possible that Andor numbers could help Ahsoka. Yeah, sure. Now, the Andor numbers are kind of interesting because if you really take a deeper look at those numbers, the amount of those views that came from people actually showing up to watch season 2 and actually follow it week to week is still tremendously low. It was helped by its first season, and when you look very closely, it seems like 60% of the numbers came from people actually watching the first season at the time that season 2 was airing. So what that means, or what it might indicate, is that there was enough interest to get a lot of people to check it out, but the show itself did not hold interest enough to make those numbers even bigger and to have a lot of numbers into actual season 2, right? But what you might say is like, okay, did that help or hurt Star Wars as a brand? Because it's still probably way more people looking at Star Wars than happened for Skeleton Crew. I mean, from what I understand, Skeleton Crew had like nobody watch it. You know what I mean? Yeah, who knows, man? Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. It's a tough one. Yeah. Yeah. Any more thoughts, comments, questions here about Star Wars, guys? Is it even possible that it'll be good again? I'm almost to the point that thinking Ahsoka season 2 is like the last hope for like my personal fandom. Although the Maul show looks really cool, I'm kind of over. I need something new, man. Ahsoka holds more promise to represent new ideas, to recontextualize things, to be bold. Ahsoka is bold, and a lot of other Star Wars is not bold, to me. Yeah. Honestly, should have given Maul a live action show. Yeah, not wrong about that. That would have been cool. All right, let's crash the stream again. All right, I'm gonna chill for like 5-10 more minutes, guys. What's on your mind? What is even are you thinking? I can't believe you said all that crazy stuff. Yeah, totally. Should Star Wars reboot if Disney keeps attempting to cook? Maybe someday. Maybe someday. I think we're not there yet, though. Yeah. A crossover seems inevitable. Oh, yeah? Need to talk about it on Nerd Theory. Yeah, I'd love to. I'm thinking about hitting him up. Maybe we'll try for next week. Maybe we'll try for a week soon when he'll have some time. But look, at the end of the day, like, here's the thing about Nerd Theory. Star Wars depresses me. Star Wars is a fucking depressing franchise, and it is difficult to imagine doing a weekly Star Wars show when I basically don't have anything to say about Star Wars except it's fucked, right? However, I love my buddy, and he and I make some great content together. We just have a very good rapport. We can be really funny and snarky together, and I think there's a lot of content he and I could create that would be really cool. The problem is, a lot of it's going to be like, oh, bro, Star Wars, we're so fucked. For a while. Yeah. C-Dub says, having a stressful day at work. Thanks for making the day a little bit more easier, Papa Josh. Nerd Ventures for life. Hey, thanks, C-Dub. Appreciate you so much, man. We almost went off the rail, man. Justin was pissing me off. You know, Justin's in here like, dude, you're not good at video games and Warhammer sucks. And I'm like, oh, motherfucker. But we didn't let Justin take the stream to a dark place. And that's what's important. You can talk about Marvel with Theory. Yeah, we'll talk about a lot of stuff, man. But the show's a Star Wars show. He's a Star Wars content creator. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, I wish it were the case that we could... I just wish Star Wars wasn't so cooked, I guess is the way I would say it. Whoa, wait a minute. A new look at Ryan Gosling and Flynn Gray and Sean Levy's Starfighter? Looks kind of cool. I think it looks good. What are they, deep sea fishing? It deadass looks like they're just deep sea fishing. What's up with that? Oh, well. Oh, well, what can you do? Oh, well. Oh, man, I'm just glad it's Friday, man, you know? I'm just glad it's Friday. It's been a long week. It's been a tough week. But we made it. We made it, and now we all get to rest and take a couple days off. Oh, it's going to be so nice. Justin says, Andor sucks just as much as trash-ass players on Rival Star Wars is beyond cook. Levi ain't saving shit. Anyway, 54 months with your I need a haircut ass. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. It's nice to get a comment like that on a Friday. 54 months is pretty crazy. Yeah, it's nice to get that on a Friday. About to shut it down for the week, you know? What the fuck, Wednesday? How hyped are we for Superman on streaming? I'm not even watching it again. I've almost done a 180 on Superman. But I'm trying not to talk about it because I know some of you guys are going to get so butthurt about it. But like, can I just ask you guys a question? Am I crazy, or how about this? Let's start here. Am I crazy, or is the desire to watch Superman again low? Because, like, I thought about this. Like, it's been for sale, and I kind of thought about it a little bit here and a little bit there, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll check it out. And then, like, I deadass was like, oh, so it's going to come out on streaming on Friday? And then I'm like, dude, I don't even want to watch it again. Like, my desire to watch that movie again is in the basement. I mean, it's fine. It's got a heart, you know, there's a lot I like about it, but like, do I really want... Did you already see it 4 times? No, I only saw it twice. I'm just saying, like, I thought it would be different. I genuinely thought in a couple of months I would be really excited to watch it again. I'm just not. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, like if you're watching it again, it's almost like, what are you watching it again for, right? Because like you watch Fantastic Four, you're obviously watching it again for the middle sequence. Like the middle sequence is so incredible that without a doubt, that's a big consideration as to watching it again. It's something you're getting excited about as it's coming up. It's something you're thrilled with as it's happening. I don't think there's anything like that in Superman. Like some of the action is cool, but none of it is as mind-blowing as like, oh, I need to watch that again. You know? And I also think that, so like there's a lot of stuff that's potentially set up in the film, but I gotta be honest with you, Gunn's been making all of these comments lately that are like, I don't know if Green Arrow exists in this universe. We'll come up with that when we get to it. You know what I mean? And then he'll say stuff like, this is all not real, so we can just change it. And then he said stuff like, if an actor can't continue, I'll just recast. And like he's saying all this stuff, and it's kind of making me think, like, because he said like, this isn't real. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but it's not real. And it's almost like he wants to downplay the significance of the canon. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, but that means I actually would rather watch Endgame again than your shit. Because I have the potential to actually pick up on something that matters. Whereas with your movie, like kind of what you're telling me is this doesn't matter. It's not like Marvel. This is more like Star Wars. I don't know how it all works together. So, you know, dead ass, you could pick up on something and then I'll just change it. You know what I mean? No, I don't want to describe it as I'm turning on Superman because I still like the movie and I think it's a fine enough start and I think the DCU has a lot of promise. I'm more like trying to explain just actual feelings I have. Like, because a lot of people will say like, oh, dude, like this is such a you thing or like you have this problem with Gunn or whatever. Guys, it's actually none of that. It's not that at all. It's literally just I am being honest with myself. My desire to rewatch this movie is way down. And then I'm like, okay, why is that? And the explanation I have is like, seriously, I think a part of it is this dude doesn't even know what his canon is. So what am I really going to get out of it by watching it again? Now, in itself, it's a good story and it's really exciting and that's awesome. But guess what? So are 100 other movies, maybe 1,000 other movies, right? The point of like the reason the MCU became what it was is because it was all one big story and it felt like you were getting context and important pieces of the story when you watch the other parts. That's not Superman. Like that's just not Superman. You know what I mean? Yeah, similar thing to Wakanda Forever. I think that's a similar thing. I liked it, but I cannot watch it again. But that's different. It's like, I literally cannot watch it again. I will watch Superman again. I'm just being honest. Like, the desire to do it is low. Like, I would rather watch Loki again than Superman. Does that make sense? Ooh, Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Did they have a release date for it, Adam? Does it have a release date? I don't see no trailer. I don't see no trailer. Marvel this, that, second, and a third. Yo, look at this new trailer, dude. Oh, shit. Let's watch this. Hang on, everybody. Hang on. Whoa. Now, is this T'Challa Black Panther? Yo, this shit's gonna be great. That's Cosmic Ghost Rider, dude. That's crazy. I guess it is Cosmic, yeah. Dude, Cosmic Ghost Rider looks fucking lit. Okay, he's got some vibranium bombs.
Let's ride together. I'm fired up.
I mean, T'Challa looks fun. He looks fast. He seems to have a lot of reach.
Vibranium blade. The slash. Cleric skull. On the strike. Enough.
This game looks fun, dude. I'm gonna play the shit out of this. Oh, dude, that's one of the Thanos-I. Oh my god. Okay, so there was a part, I believe this was a Jim Starlin thing. There's a part that is from the original Infinity Gauntlet where essentially Thanos makes a bunch of like robot copies of himself and they go out across all time and space to just learn about the multiverse. And they were called the Thanos-I, and they were literally like highly advanced robots that Thanos made. That looks to be one of the Thanos-I. Like they all dressed like that. Dude, that's cool. They still don't have a release date though? So the only thing I'll say about this Black Panther thing, because like I love Black Panther and he looks cool here, but like, dude, so you've got these super cosmic versions of like Cosmic Ghost Rider. I almost feel like you need the Cosmic Empire version of Black Panther. You know, like give him a little fur over the shoulder, like a little more swag. He needs more aura. You know? Like I think it's fine that Spider-Man looks like Spider-Man. That's fine. But I think this Black Panther design needed a little bit more riz, a little bit more aura. No release date? Come on, man. Man, that looks cool, though. It's going to be fun. That one's going to be pretty cool. Big Cat says, remember when Josh beat Cyber Akuma on first try without breaking a sweat? Always watching on replay. Much love, Josh. Nerd Venge for that. Yeah, thanks, man. I think I took him on the third try, but yeah. No, that was impressive. I was in the zone. It's about the tone for me with Superman. Yeah, and that's fine. Like, dude, if that's something you're really into and you're about it, dude, that's great. And maybe there'll be a time, like I will say this for Superman, I think its tone is so good and I think its messaging is so good that there might be a day when your boy just wants to just put a fucking blanket over me and watch Superman. But you know what the vibe of that kind of feels like? Like I'm home from school sick. That's what the vibe is. Like the Superman movie feels like something you're going to reach for when you're sad. And the truth is, like, I'm not trying to be mean, but I don't really get sad that often. I do get sad. And when I'm sad, I like to watch sad stuff too, or listen to the Shins, or, you know, smoke clove cigarettes or whatever stupid shit people do when they're sad. But dude, I don't know. Do I want to sign up for 2 hours of fucking hillbilly Superman getting his ass beat? I don't know. I just think there's a couple other things that I could watch. Yeah. Why focus on the negative? What do you mean? Like just in general? Like why do humans do that? Why should I focus on the negative? What do you mean? Qualify that. Do you think it was an L to not show RDJ's face in F4? I do a little bit, but I also understand that they're just trying to keep the actual reveal for the film. Bro's mad F4 sucked at the box office. I mean, a little bit, yeah. I'm a little bit mad about that. I think Superman and F4 both underperformed, though. You know what I mean? And, like, look, there was that article that came out about how they made 128 or 125 million. That's bullshit, bro. They made that on ancillaries. Like, in the theater, maybe it made 20 million. And I don't know, if you reboot Superman, you reboot DC, you get the Marvel guy, you spend years doing this, and then you make $20 million. Now, look, Zaslav's happy because it seems like it's going to work for what he wants, which is just a sale. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. They're both kind of disappointing to me. But I think this sale could be good, actually. I think this sale could be good. A lot of people are nervous about the sale, and I understand it, but dude, I think it would be good, actually. Are we doing a New York Comic-Con stream? Probably not. I mean, there might be some stuff maybe Saturday morning, so maybe we could do a little Saturday morning stream going over it. But yeah. Yeah. Joey Ebbs, 56 months. Oh my God, man. Thank you for all that support. Says new cut looking a little like the new Superman haircut. I like it. Can't wait to watch Superman for the first time this Friday. Oh, you've not watched it? So this is going to seem so weird. First of all, thank you about the haircut. This is going to seem so weird because it sounds like I'm talking a bunch of shit on Superman. But you haven't seen it, you're going to have a great time. It is a really good movie. Man. Watching it for the first time would be really fun. What I'm talking about is replay value. I think it lacks a certain replay value. Definitely lacks that for me. But dude, oh, if I could go back and watch that movie for the first time again, I would. It is very cool. You're going to have a great time. The reviews on this DiCaprio movie are insane. Yeah, they're certainly hyping it up, man. You think it'll be that good? You think it'll be that good? All right, guys, I'm going to get on out of here. I'll see you guys tonight at 7:30. We're going to do a casual stream. We're just going to watch some videos together. We'll hang out. Just chat it up, you know, argue about stuff, yell at each other, you know, all that kind of stuff. Make sure you watch the video later today where I reveal Sadie Sink's character. Oh my God, I can't believe it. It's crazy. And then, yeah, so I'll see you guys later tonight, and then we'll close out the week strong, okay? Much love, man. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the super chats, the member chats. Thanks for the chat chats. Thanks for liking the stream. Pretty good Friday stream, you know what I mean? All right, everybody. Much love. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Oh man, what a crazy day. Man. So I think, guys, the black and white photo for Starfighter was very cool, nostalgic, impressive, and fun. This one feels a little desperate. I don't know what we're doing here. I don't know why we feel the need to share this photo, and I just think, I kind of think it's going to be a bad look for them because I just don't think people give a shit. I don't know, guys. Am I crazy here? Am I crazy here? I just don't think that's a good move, man. I don't think that's a good move. Anyway, appreciate you guys as always. Thank you for being here. I hope you had a nice time. Hope you were entertained. We definitely cooked some crazy theories. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. And I'll see you soon, okay? Hey, do me a favor, though. Actually make it 2. Open up your third eye. And wash out your stinky butthole.